Hey, boys and girls, special Sunday afternoon edition of Saturday Night at the Atheist.
Hello.
How about that? And we have a virtual smorgasbord of creationism and nutcakes for you today. But I don't know how much of it we're going to get to. We're going to try to get to a bit of it. But first of all, yeah, go ahead. Anybody got anything?
Well, I guess we can just say something about Paulogia's new channel. We have a link in the description. He created a channel called Paulogia Live in order to basically take written stuff that he's done on blogs, like the debate with, what's the name of that scholar again?
Loke, right?
Yeah, his debate with Andrew Loke is he's voicing it using his little bouncy animations. And that's available for people to listen to. So that's just a little note for those who enjoy Paulogia and his regular channel. There's also an offshoot channel now. That's what I've got.
It actually is in the description now.
Oh, very good.
Yep. And so let's see. David brought us a few things, and Andrew has another Nephilim encounter that he wants to talk about.
And I'll have you know, I left a stream. I was just on, Chris, I'm turning into an internet wizard or something. Yeah, whatever you call it. I just left a stream that I was having a lot of fun with. It was a nutcase that was on there. The guy that that talks about the what's his name? Why atheists are idiots. You know that guy? He goes by CJ.
CJ.
He's the knucklehead that thinks that the snake is surrounding the Earth.
And then all atheists will spend eternity in hell in his belly.
He's got the video out that's that Matt Dillahunty is going to descend into the snake of demons or whatever the Christ. He was on there.
My belly.
Yeah, we were having fun with him. He had just gotten there, and so maybe we'll review some of that later.
The world snake is real from Norse mythology. It's real. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, is he called a synagogue? Is that him?
No, this is a different guy. There's several people out there that I'm pretty sure I think he goes by CJ also. There's several CJs out there, so you don't get them mixed up.
Yeah, but you referenced the stream, and I don't see a link for it, so I'm just confused.
No, I didn't link you that stream. It's still going on right now.
Where's it at?
It's over at Sydney Winston's channel.
He's
live. Yeah, he's still live right now. Peter's over there. Peter's there. Jill showed up. Right when you went, Lord, you were getting ready to go live. I've never been on a live stream with Jill. Jesus is Lord. You guys know him, right?
Yeah.
He had just come on, didn't even say a word, and I was. Oh, he's back on there now, I believe. So they're still live, and he had just come on right when you guys are starting up. So I ended up leaving, but yeah. So interesting live stream he's got going on, Sydney.
Oh, there are live streams everywhere that are they're also interesting.
Oh yeah. So anyway,
I don't know. We can knock this one off. Okay, what we've got on the screen here is a site that I had not heard of before.
Me neither.
What's that?
I said me neither. I've just discovered it last night, thanks to the YouTube algorithm.
Right.
Yeah, brand new. You said, huh? Yeah.
The guy, the name of it is Useful Charts. I don't know the name of the guy that runs it, but he in one of his videos noted that he has a BA in theology and a PhD in psychology of religion. He also says he was raised in the Worldwide Church of God. He later, like in college, basically went to evangelical and more mainline Protestant churches, and he's a converted Jew. So he's got a wide scope of experience in all sorts of different faiths.
Scott,
but
I'm sorry, Scott. I'm confused. I thought this was Paulogia's. No, this is
no. That's just something I mentioned. That's got a link in the description. Yeah, this is from Useful Charts channel. And what I noticed, he's got several history things, although his channel is much more than about biblical history or religion. He does like his latest one is real interesting. It's a family tree of the gods of the ancient Mesopotamia, which is really fascinating stuff. And plus he tells some of the mythical stories that go along with it. So it's really fascinating. But what he did here in his video on the historicity or the timeline and chronology of the Hebrew Bible is he plotted out the timeline of the Hebrew Old Testament, and he did it in such a way that it just reveals that the history was written with symbology and literary flair in mind, and importance of religious symbolism more than an actual history. So it's inappropriate for like somebody like Bishop Ussher to try to say that the universe was created in 4004 BC, but this is what the writers of the Hebrew Bible, around the 2nd century BC, was wanting us to get. The important events were like Abraham being born, Jacob and his family moving to Egypt, the Exodus, which is of course 2/3 of the way through this 4,000 year plant timeline. And so then what he did was he found the 2 places where you can find definite dates about what happened in Old Testament history. One is when Jerusalem was destroyed. Actually, he doesn't really put the Assyrians conquering the northern kingdom in here, but he's got a PDF that has more events in it. But like 587 BC, we just know for sure that's when Jerusalem was conquered. And then he just went backwards in time and created a timeline of dates. The first column is just basically years since creation. And then the column of dates denoted by the BC are just when the writers, the people who edited together the Hebrew Old Testament, estimated those things took place. And so what it reveals is just kind of a ritualistic, mythological, faith-based view of history as believed by the Old Testament people.
Can I ask a question? Now, how would this relate to, like, say, our fellow friends, our young Earth creationist friends? Now, they wouldn't agree with this, right? Because a lot of this is more on the Old Testament.
They would even say, no, you're just a freaking liberal. You don't care. You're an atheist. What do you know anyway? And then, or they might say, well, yeah, they do have the numbers of like 430 years between major events and this and that, but it all happened anyway.
Right.
And so
when did everyone start babbling at the tower? Babbling at the.
I don't know.
Does that happen after Abraham is born or before Abraham?
Before, after the flood, but before Abraham.
Well, shit, there's only 290 years there.
I know, isn't it incredible?
So they built that damn tower pretty fast with 6 people reproducing. Okay.
Yeah. To try to fit actual history into it is an impossible thing. But this is not about actual history. It's about faith.
They're reproducing a lot at that time, right?
Oh,
and so there's a lot of babies there. They must have had nannies. They had to have had nannies.
And they all survived.
Right?
They had an army of babies to build the tower.
Yep. There you go.
And their genomes were perfect, so there was no death in childbirth.
And I think those are the ones that grew into the giants and the Neanderthals, right? I would say.
If you give a hammer to a toddler, they will hammer. They'll hammer away.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely.
I guess you can build a
tower
to heaven or a ziggurat with a bunch of toddlers.
Yeah.
So
we can explain this shit, no problem. We can explain it better than the creationists can, right? I mean,
I think so. Well, at least
we make shit up, and
hey, John.
Is that kind of like if you put 1 million monkeys in a room with typewriters, eventually they would type out Shakespeare. So if you give 1 million babies each a hammer, eventually they're going to the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, but you'll have a lot more poop with the babies.
No, you got to give them Lincoln logs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing is though, is like the monkeys would fling their poop, but the babies wouldn't really do that. So,
does anybody still know what the hell a Lincoln log is? Besides us old people,
I do.
Yeah, us old people do. Oh, you do, Andrew?
Yeah, I used to play with them when I was like really, really young.
That's why you're so smart.
They still
get them, can't you? I think you can still buy those, can't you?
Yeah, they got to be plastic now, right? They used to be actual wood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You used to get wood. Well, did I say get wood?
Yep. Oh, exciting things have been going on.
Okay. So anyway, this looks like a really interesting site to look into. And if he's got a website associated with it and like PDFs and stuff, you said?
Yeah, down in the descriptions, he'll link a PDF of whichever timelines he wants people to have. Yeah, there's a video series on was Moses a real person? There's a video on was Jesus excuse me, a real person? And then so there's like 3 or 4 like that, but then you also have like the family trees of different royalty. You have charts that describe. I think all the
scholar? Scott, is this guy a scholar or no?
He has a PhD in psychology of religion, but he does all the charts and stuff. Is just his avocation. Just something to do because it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But he does know how to do history. So.
No, we don't want to lose Andrew. So.
Yeah. Sorry, Andrew. Am I
Andrew? I was just gonna say, Scott, you mentioned the channel you found. Can I mention the channel I found yesterday that looks pretty interesting? I haven't watched any of their videos, but I've previewed some of them, and they look really detailed and educational.
Well, sure. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
So there are actually 2 channels by the same person. One's called History of the Earth, and the other is History of the Universe. And they only have a few episodes so far, but they seem really detailed.
I think I'm getting links to those for some reason by my YouTube algorithm. You have links for our description?
I could find them for you.
That would be
if you're
good.
going to mention them, that's really required on this channel.
Okay, I apologize.
So, yes, yeah. I get yelled at all the time.
All the time. David gets yelled at every day.
I do.
I hope you take it. Let's see, Elgal.
I do take it serious. I do take it serious. I try to stay on the ball, and
I cannot find them. Anyway, okay. So now I don't want to lose Andrew. So maybe we should go to Nephilim, or should we talk about Cell Cordova getting triggered?
What? Yeah, Andrew. We don't want to lose you. What do you want to do? You're in charge here, buddy.
Because Andrews tends to evaporate if you.
Yeah, I tend to do that.
That's a good word for it. He
Yeah.
evaporates away.
He evaporates.
My protons are decaying. Up to you guys. I was just gonna show it when we had time, but if you want to do it now, I'm all for it. I can find the links later, and you can post them in the description.
Okay.
Hey, real quick before we move on, so like you guys are talking about new channels that you came across. And Speed mentioned like what he getting in his feed. All of a sudden, middle of last week, in my the main page of YouTube where they give you the suggested videos that you might like, for some reason I was getting dozens and dozens of recommendations to watch videos about fountain pens.
What the hell?
I have no idea where it came, and I was like getting like frustrated. I was deleting, say don't give me anything from this channel again. And like for 2-3 days straight, it was just nothing but fountain pens in my fucking feed.
Okay, I know what happened.
One thing now, Andrew, not to be ageist or anything, but do you know what a fountain pen is?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, somebody explain, give some background, some context on what a fountain pen is.
Is it a pen that contains an actual fountain?
Yeah, no, okay, he's innocent. I don't think we want to wreck his innocence by actually telling him what a fountain pen is. But maybe you went to Walmart and you bought a bag of those plastic pens and used your credit card. And then, like, by the time you get home, every Google search you do will have pens on it. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know.
A fountain pen it's kind of like the space pen a fountain pen is in case you fall into a fountain, it will still write.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay, they're lying to you, Andrew. And in the name of truth, it used to be they would use little fountains, which were just like little containers that had an opening that contained ink. I guess they called it an inkwell at the time or something. Yeah, and then you would take your feathered pen or just an actual pen, without feathers.
Or an actual feather.
Yeah, and you'd stick it in the inkwell, and you would write with that. And when you ran out of ink, you would have to dip it again. And then in the modern age of technology, they use these little plastic tubes that contained ink, and you would just put them down in your pen and smush them, and they would kind of leak out ink so that you could write more. And they had the sharp points to them and everything. And then they, of course, came up with ballpoint pens. And then that's all she wrote for the fountain pens, except for ceremonial occasions. But
anyway. And Andrew, I don't know if you knew this or not, but like the very first computers, the Apple I, when you wanted to print something, you had to put your hand in something called a modem. And it made this like funny little noise, like this dinging noise. And then your right hand, you had a fountain pen, and you had to print it out that way. So that was the very first. That was Apple I.
Once again, you're being lied to, just so you know.
John, please pay attention to the side chat.
Spooky.
Sorry.
Yeah. What?
I posted the link to the two channels. The images are on there.
Oh, you're a blessing.
Private chat.
Let's see.
So if you want to put those in the description so people can enjoy them.
I mean, Wooly Ignorant must have seen all those Jeopardy skits on Saturday Night Live with what James Bond dude. I can't remember who I'm thinking of. The oldest. Who's the oldest James Bond?
Sean Connery.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever seen those, but he would always do that same thing. Like he would fuck up the categories, like, Penn Island. And then he would say, I'll take Penis Land for 100 addicts.
Yeah, those are funny.
Okay. Let's see. iPhone history of the universe.
Are we going to do Nephilim's thing?
Yeah. Did you put two in?
The history of the Earth one is right below it.
What the hell?
It's you don't see it?
No. History of the universe. Okay. Yeah, we're delaying. Let's see. I'm trying to find Nephilim.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. How you feeling, Andrew? You're not evaporating yet, are you?
Is he evaporating?
No.
Oh, what you don't know can't hurt ya. What you don't know can't hurt ya.
So anything interesting with Nephilim, Andrew?
Yeah, I asked him a question and he didn't really answer it, but it should be at the 1 hour. Oh, I guess I didn't do it right. It should be start at the 1 hour 25-minute mark. That's
I wanted to get the part about the nostrils going through the brain.
Oh, okay, you can do that first.
If I have it properly bookmarked here. And then you said the 1 minute what mark?
1 hour 25 minutes. That's where it starts.
Cool.
So we have to hear Nephilim's voice.
Oh, yeah.
When did this happen, Andrew? Was this recent, last night, or?
This was Friday night.
25th.
Friday night?
25th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. So first of all, I think I caught the part about the whale brain, but
We are doing terrible at our intervention. I'm sorry, Speak. Go ahead.
Okay. Where's the noise?
Let's play a little more.
Dolphins, cetaceans, swimming mammals first appear in the fossil record about 55 million years ago.
Anybody hear that? Are you able to hear what Dr. Miller says? You can hear? Okay, so I'm going to back it up and start again. I just wanted confirmation that me pushed forth by
when we look at genetics. And I'm going to give you an example of a really famous incongruity. Whales and dolphins, cetaceans, swimming mammals, first appear in the fossil record about 55 million years ago.
Okay, first off, I'm going to pause it right there and say, he says first appear in the fossil record about 55 million years ago. The 55 million years ago is impossible according to geology, real geology, and that's his assumption of the alleged.
Anyway, that's not it. Let's see if you've got it.
A
here.
record about 55 million years ago.
Oh, shit.
Okay, first off, I'm going to pause it right there. The 55 million, and that's his assumption of the alleged geologic column, which is actually unsupportable.
Ontologists, we have
no evolution of whales in the fossil record. What we have are creatures like Rhodocetus, which was a fraud, Pakicetus, which means the Pakistani whale. That's why it's called Pakicetus, and a couple of other creatures which have either legs or external fins, anterior fins, and then we have whales which have none of that. They have no bones in the rear, in the anterior portion of the spine. They don't have any pelvis. They don't have any femurs. They don't have any tibula. They have nothing. No wrist bones, no digits, nothing. There's nothing. And going by...
You want to fact check that?
I thought he was talking about the whales with the big peckers when he called them peccastinos.
Wait, is he saying...
Yeah.
Huh?
Is he saying modern whales don't have those?
Right, they have no bones. Modern whales
What?
have no bones. Yeah.
No.
Are you kidding
no,
me?
Nothing.
And there's absolutely, no fossil record at all of ancient. Yeah. It gets worse.
The fossil record, there's other reasons to believe we don't have any record of what the evolution of whales. For example, we don't have any evolution of the nasal passages of creatures that preceded whales, transferring themselves up the skull, migrating from two nostrils and merging into one blowhole at the top of the head, which is what the evolutionists believe happened, which would, of course, cause those nasal passages to pass right through the brain, which is...
What?
Okay, so if you look at... So who the hell brought me this? Somebody brought me this. Somebody is actually going to do a video on this, and shit, I forgot who did it. Was it... I know. I'm pretty sure it is... God damn it. Anyway. No. Let's see. Where is he at? Hold on a second. Creo Debunk, I think, is going to do something on this. I think he's the one that brought it to me. Anyway, so it was... I think it was him that mentioned that. I have so many goddamn recommendations I can't give him straight. But anyway, so there's a picture, of the whale skull. And Nephilim thinks that in order to evolve, it had to go straight from the nose in a straight line up to the top of the head, and it had to pass through the brain. So I mean,
that's where the phrase "blow your brains out" comes from.
But I mean, these guys actually think this way, right? Like, okay, the whale had, the ancestor has to have children, and those children have children, and those children have children, and nothing is passing through the brain. It's like he's imagining an intermediate species where the nostrils are in the middle of the brain, because he draws a line. And if you look at the whale anatomy, it doesn't work that way anyway. Yeah. Even if it did. But I mean, migrate directly through the skull. What the fuck?
I think it's safe to assume that nothing passes through Nephi's brain.
Nothing passes through nothing. Oh my goodness. There's so much. Anyway. So 1 hour and 25, you said?
Yeah. Oh, was that the only clip you wanted to play?
Yeah, that was. I just wanted to. Okay, first of all, him claiming, it's impossible with geology to have 55 million years. Bullshit. There are no bones, no leg bones or remnants of bones in the whale. Bullshit. And then the last one, the creme de la creme is passing through the brain. I mean.
Hey, real quick, Robert C., that was Kyle's mom. What? Not Cartman's mom.
Cartman. Oh, what are we talking about? Nephi? No, I don't know. What
we're talking about South Park.
Oh.
Yeah, Robert C. was responding to some of the shit Nephi said, and he was like, what?
No. Okay, so at 124, you ask your question?
More like 125. So you can skip like a minute ahead. Yeah. If I can share my
Why shouldn't he make? Why shouldn't God make so many varieties?
Why did he? It's not an asshole. God is creative.
Why shouldn't he? You haven't given me a reason to believe God shouldn't create. If God is some limited, dumb little being, maybe he could only make 10 different species. Okay, but God made millions of species. So, to me, that only demonstrates his incredible majesty.
And he drowned about 1 million of them.
Okay, can I ask you?
I think your question is rather absurd, really.
Can I try and get the point you're getting at, Brandon, by asking you a question now?
All right, sure.
So Neff, based on if we were to treat common design a hypothesis and test it basically, why would we expect tuna, bony fish, to be more similar in structure to humans and tetrapods than they are to sharks, despite the fact that tuna and sharks live in the same environment, the ocean? Why would we expect that?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Sharks are a very unique kind of creature. They have a different type of spine than all the other fishes, right? The shape of their vertebrae
and tuna live in the same environment.
Hockey puck. The shape of the shark's vertebrae are hockey puck, like a land dwelling creature, like a human. Instead of, I'm sorry, they're dish shaped. I'm not saying that right. They're flattish on the ends instead of hockey puck, like a typical fish, right?
It's the size of the animal.
They're the only ocean. Sharks are the only quote unquote fish that has this difference. They're unique, and that the vertebrae are shaped like hockey pucks, not like ashtrays or concave lenses on both sides.
Okay, let me read.
There's a problem with that, though. Is how does evolution transition the shape of the? And this is I mentioned this in my article about Per Alberg's absurd reconstruction. Please let me finish.
Can I rephrase my question?
Yes, do let me finish. I mentioned this in my article about Per Alberg's absurd, cartoonish, absolutely stupid reconstruction of Ichthyostega. So from 600 examples, by the way. So I mean, to believe that evolution is going to change the vertebrae, the shape of the vertebrae, from hockey puck to concave to hockey puck, and still remain completely a fish, doesn't fit the evolution paradigm. So you'd have to explain lots of things about sharks, like the incredibly accurate electrosensors that surround its mouth that give it the ability to get a 3D image of a fish that's so far away in the water it can't even see it and know how big it is, how fast it's moving, and where it's with evolution. And I'd say good luck with that.
Okay, so rephrasing my question, if we're looking, if we're picking out one feature and ignoring all the others for right now, why
would we do that?
Okay, that's what we're doing.
to make the situation a bit simpler to understand.
All right, what feature is that?
Okay,
shape
so
of the vertebrae?
No, not the shape of the vertebrae. How about the fact that we and tuna have bony vertebrae and sharks have cartilaginous vertebrae? Why did God design it like that if tuna and sharks live in the same
Why
planet?
shouldn't he? So you're asking a crazy hypothetical question. You're asking us to explain. Please be quiet while I'm somebody speaking. You're asking us to explain something that is potentially unknown. Why? You're asking us to know the mind of God? Why God would be
So
created?
you're admitting you don't have a model. You don't have a testable model.
It's not a scientific model. It's a creator model. You're
So
expecting me
why
to
are
give
we
you a
keeping that
scientific
science?
You're expecting me to give you a scientific chain of events.
Oh, nice.
But that's not how God made things.
Foreskin. So, he's saying it's not a model; it's creation.
Yeah.
Yet he just went off for like 5 minutes, giving a bunch of
Scientific facts.
About like sharks and saying, well, you got to explain that this, shows God's majesty and like.
He's contradicting himself is what he's doing.
Yep.
So it keeps going if you want to play some more before he eventually kicks me or boots me from the stream.
Okay, we could play a little bit more.
Not again.
Yeah, that was the point that you wanted us to see, is that he's basically admitting that we're just making shit up. But, oh, by the way, I have all these science facts.
Yeah, it's like they claim it's scientifically supported, but when I dig down into it, they're basically saying it's magic, that you can't understand it. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Which I found entertaining.
And yet when they ask difficult questions about abiogenesis, we're expected to have the entire chemistry all worked out, Yeah. Oh, yeah, there was the Otangelo thing, too, the other night, where I basically... I think I kicked Otangelo's butt on Grr Mania. I don't know.
He's all upset, yeah.
And I sent you guys a response email, right, David and Scott? Yeah.
Did you see?
Grr Mania, just when Otangelo, I think, left, pretty much indicated he thought that you had kicked Otangelo's butt. I got those vibes. Now, he didn't say it.
Yeah.
I don't think he said it in so many words, but there was just that lilt in his voice, or that upper, where your voice kind of goes up a little.
Yep.
You could kind of tell that he was thinking, okay, Angelo just got his butt handed to him.
Yeah, and if you look at
you saw Immutable hand him his ass too a little while later, right?
Yep.
You guys,
Is my audio okay, guys?
Oh no, you're roboting again, Marshall.
Okay, sorry.
Marshall, we got to buy you a connection. Okay, so so the reason I thought Otangelo had an owie butt is because the next day he sends me, frankly, I don't see what sense it makes to keep joining your streams when all I get is foolish objections of incredulity from know-nothing idiots like Lori, John Peterson, Leo, and all the other ultra-crepidarians. He didn't mention you, Scott.
Oh.
That come to your streams.
That's okay. That's okay.
And then he says, you are the worst of them all. Your pseudoscientific claims are taken for granted that those that do not know science, and you don't either. If you want to have conversations with me, we can set up some streams on my channel.
Is that
what I expect? Yeah.
and he's saying that your pseudo-scientific claims.
Yep.
Those are precious words coming out of Otangelo's mouth.
He's basically trying to go full Darth Dawkins.
Okay, but he has a challenge for me. He says, but I expect some willingness to recognize the obvious shortcomings that unguided events have to produce: codes, languages, information storage and transmission mechanisms, instruction assembly information, machines, robotic assembly lines, energy turbines, computers, and interlinked factories. Otherwise, why do you not simply stay in your delusional bubble together with your sycophants which agree with everything you say, no matter how foolish. ?
So look, I'm beginning to think that Otangelo and Danny should start a channel together.
I think so. That would be good.
Yeah. Can you translate that, Speed? What the hell did he mean by all that? Like,
okay, so his view of biology is that there are codes, languages, information, storage and transmission mechanisms, instructional assembly, information, machines, robotic assembly lines, energy turbines, computers, and interlinked factories. What the fuck is he talking about?
Right. So he's saying he wants you to agree to that? Is that
he wants me to be open-minded to that.
Oh, just open-minded to that. That's what he meant by okay.
Yeah, I have to recognize the obvious shortcomings of nature
possibly
to produce.
True or whatever.
Right. Yeah, and I think I do recognize, Otangelo, that nature cannot make computers and interlinked factories and energy turbines.
Yeah,
that we need human beings for that. Right.
Holy shit! Like,
oh my goodness!
I just.
Anyway, that was a result of me having burned his butt a little bit. So he had owie butt.
Yeah.
So look here, from all that, from every time I've ever heard Otangelo talk about this shit, all I take away from it is the best way to confuse Otangelo is when you talk to him, use a lot of metaphors, and then he'll never really understand what's going on because he'll take all the metaphors literally.
Literally, right?
Mm.
Yeah, like the Benny Hinn song. Anyway.
Benny.
I can't help it. I was doing that with my son, and my son said that it's not Benny Hinn, is it? It's like, no, it's not. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think you've done it. Well, I think what you did to him. When was that? Friday night.
Yeah, it was on ribosomes.
Yeah, he's done. He's not coming back here for. I'm sorry to say. I think.
Oh my god!
Remember the last time we said that though, and we thought, oh, it's going to be weeks before we see him again, and the motherfucker came back the very next day.
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of a little unpredictable, but he's pretty butthurt. He's just been getting hammered everywhere. Like everywhere, everywhere. I mean, look he took the beating from Darth. He's taken a beating. He took a beating from Tom Rabbit the other day too, because he took a beating from Darth. Speed gave him a good beating Friday night. Immutable. Just everywhere he goes, he's really.
Matt Dillahunty hung up on him about a week ago too. Again.
Yeah, that too. You had that just recently.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot. He's been hammered over at Digital Gnosis with, Pine Creek and all those guys. He got handed to. We never actually reviewed that too. As a matter of fact, that was probably a couple of weeks ago. Remember I told you there was several people on that stream that really kind of hammered him about his young Earth creation. I mean, basically, they tried to say, why don't you just go along with science, accept science for what it's telling you, accept old Earth, and you still can be a Christian. And the way each person said something along those lines and really hammered them pretty good. And you could really see the expression on Tangelo's face. I almost thought it was kind of sinking in, just the way they all did it.
Didn't somebody just say that today on a stream when they were talking to Otangelo that he's about to become an atheist, or was that on?
Yeah, where did I see? Yeah,
I heard that, but I don't. I've listened to so many little snippets here and there that I don't know where that was.
Okay, let's try to finish Nephilim here, and we'll get on the Digital Gnosis.
Okay. Well, it's not science; it's magic then.
No, it's not magic. It's supernatural power.
You just said that.
Magic is tricks.
What do you think magic is? It's supernatural.
Wait, you're telling me that dirt organized itself into Beethoven, and you're trying to call creation.
Don't shift the burden of proof here.
Okay, no, you're shifting the burden of proof.
Oh my God!
You've absolutely, completely left the evidence, and now you're talking about creationism as magic. Look, here's the real magic. Dirt soup organized itself into Beethoven, Michelangelo statues, and Jan Vermeer paintings. That's in space probes and molecular organisms that consider their place in the cosmos and believe in God. And you're telling me that's plausible? But it's not
Okay.
plausible that God could create a variety of creatures because he's creative? Are you giving me
That's
a
not
jump
an answer,
start?
though.
Anyway, you did really good, Andrew. You are
so
really
look,
getting good at this.
There's another little snippet of irony. Dirt organized itself into whistle, 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 or dirt organized itself into Beethoven, and yet at the very beginning of his holy book, God picked up a handful of dirt and made a man.
Well, you see, the difference is God was there to do it, whereas in the natural world there was no God to do it. So,
right.
I mean,
so you want me to believe that dirt made itself into a whistling primate?
right? Yeah. And the thing is, though, is like, but the point is too is that okay, so God made Adam out of dirt. And now Nephi's saying that dirt organized itself into Beethoven and space probes and all this stuff. And I don't think that any of those things are made of dirt.
no.
Oh my God. Okay. We done with him?
Well, I was hoping we could go till he boots me, but whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Oh,
keep going.
Yeah, okay, we'll keep going.
You've got to be kidding me.
It doesn't make predictions.
You've got to be. Creationism does make predictions. You've got to be kidding me.
That specific aspect of creation doesn't make predictions.
You're kidding.
Hey, who's this Brandon Worrell guy?
I'm not sure. I feel like he accepts evolution, but I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay.
If that's the same Brandon that's in the chats all the time, he does not. So
Here?
I don't know. No, he's in the creationist chat, like on Praise's channel.
But it sounded like he was coming down on Neff a little bit, wasn't he?
I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know who he is. I was just saying.
Okay.
Good. Keep going.
You believe rock soup organized itself into Jean Vermeer paintings and Michelangelo's statues. No, you tried to change the subject when you said, why is it implausible that God would create such variety? And that's not even an argument for creation or evolution.
I'm trying to see why
that doesn't even make a point.
Well, I'm trying to see why would we expect under creation this specific aspect of reality that we see in nature?
I just did not answer that. I said because God is creative and ingenious. Didn't I?
How would we test that?
Well, we don't have to test it. We observe it. Everything that lives is
How can you observe something that you can't test?
Everything that exists is an example of it.
So if you observe something, that means that you can test it. So.
Right.
Yeah,
if everything is evidence for God, then nothing is evidence for God.
It can be tested. And it's been tested. You know how it's been tested? Millions of experiments in genetic mutation in observing and recording.
We're not talking about mutations.
Be quiet while I'm speaking. Millions of experiments have been performed in genetic mutation, and the results of those experiments have been published in the medical journals. And the results are, guess what? The vast majority of those mutations, if they affect a protein code or a code that expresses a protein, are negative. But evolution tells us that mutations create and design fantastical things. But we don't have science.
Can you hear me, guys?
Okay? That's the problem. So you're trying to tell me that your default position, that evolution must be true, somehow.
Yeah, Creo was telling me about this. I think he said he was going to do a video on it. I'm not sure. The nose, the whale nose, and the evolution. But
trounces the scientific evidence, and that's because I'm religious. No, it's because your belief is not only religious, but it's based upon a faith that can't be supported with evidence. My Christian faith can be demonstrated and supported by evidence. In fact, the Hebrews 1:11.
You just admitted that you can't test it scientifically. So how can you have tested?
It's been tested.
Not that specific aspect.
Are you listening to me? Be quiet and listen for a second. Did I not say that the results relating observable, testable, repeatable results about the effects of mutations have been published in the medical journals thousands and thousands of times? Did I not say that?
Yes, you said that, but that wasn't what I was talking about.
Okay. That's observable and testable. You say, how is it observable and testable? That's how it's observable. That the genome has affected by mutations produces negative results. That's how we know. Now, if evolution were true, that the opposite of that has to be true. the mutations actually don't cause overwhelmingly disease mutation, in other words, and because if that were true, that would simply lead the species toward extinction. Instead, mutations have to be incredible designers, you see, and that contradicts all of medical science. So this is how we know your worldview is pseudoscience fantasy in minus science. Do you understand?
Yes, sure.
Okay,
Foreskin.
Because it was published in the medical journals.
Okay, so I want to ask Andrew. So, since he wasn't giving you a chance, could you take a couple minutes and explain to us and the audience why everything he just said is just so wrong?
About mutations?
Well, right, about how he's saying that because of those things, that's indicative of God. That's proof. He's basically saying that proves God.
Right. Well, like, I feel like at most that would be like assuming what he's saying is true, which it isn't. But like assuming that were true, at most it would prove something like genetic entropy or something like that. But that wouldn't necessarily prove a God, just because of the fact that in order to prove a metaphysical concept, you need metaphysical evidence, which of course we don't have. So you can't prove something metaphysical scientifically. If that makes sense. Does that kind of help, or
oh yeah, I mean, it's just
to talk something else.
It's that he. I mean, yeah. Aside from the fact of whether it's what he was saying was accurate or not, he's just doing like what a lot of people like, kind of like what a Tangela does. Like gish galloping a bunch of information. Yeah. And then just at the very end saying, well, this is a problem for you. This shows that there has to be a God. I mean, he didn't say those exact words, but that's what he was intimating.
Right. Yeah. I mean that. Oh, go ahead.
Let's try to break it down. Okay. He was saying that you can't test what God did because it's creation, right? Because it's creation science. You said that was magic. He said no. Magic is tricks. So he's, he doesn't like the word magic, but still it's supernatural. He did agree it was supernatural. So then you ask him, you called him on saying that he had evidence for God, by saying that he admitted that he didn't, but he said, no, I have evidence for God in that, like the Lenski experiment didn't develop fish, right? Or something.
Right.
So basically he switches over to science and says that, well, science hasn't proven something, therefore he has evidence for God, because look at the glory of the universe. You can see God there because science hasn't proven how it happened naturally, therefore had to happen with God. So it's kind of like that, right? So
yeah, it's all a big argument from ignorance. I think I was going to ask him one more question here. Like it's basically, I think he denies even that. I'm not sure. I want to revisit this part.
Okay, let's go ahead.
The last 90 years.
So would it be a fair description of what we're talking about here if you're saying your model applies to mutations in genetics, but doesn't necessarily apply to phylogenetic patterns?
No, I would say what you call a phylogenetic pattern is what's in your imagination.
Well, all phylogenetic
after all,
really is
you believe whales are related to Pachycetus, right?
Sure.
Okay, that's where you take your leap. We have creatures with anterior fins, all the bones, pelvis, and everything. Then we have, this creature has none of that. Oh, but it happened anyway.
Would you mind differentiating the methodology of paternity tests from the methodology of what you just described?
Well, paternity tests can demonstrate relatedness of creatures that are extremely closely related. Extremely.
Right. So where does the relatedness end?
I'm trying to answer your question. If
okay.
But genetic similarities in a broad sense exist in countless species. That doesn't demonstrate that they're related to each other.
Right.
You can't take. You're not telling me that we can compare the genome of Fred and Sally and demonstrate that they're related to each other. That we can demonstrate by comparing the genome of Fred and a lizard that they're related. See, you got to be kidding me, right? There's expected genetic similarities.
Those methods?
There are expected genetic similarities between various types of life based on their environment in which they were created to live.
Not based on the example I just gave you about tuna sharks and humans.
So if human beings, if various creatures live in a similar environment, are you telling me that we shouldn't expect them to have genetic similarities based on their environment in which they live?
No, not under common ancestry.
Well, then you don't understand
It's
evolution or
natural
anything. You
selection.
should go away and not come back for a while. You just said something that's totally stupid.
Okay, I could try and explain it.
No, you can't explain it. You just made a ridiculous error. If creatures live in the same environment, we should expect genetic similarities, even according to evolution theory, because evolution theory
that's not what it says. It's
would have
based on
produced.
history.
Don't talk over me constantly. Evolution theory would create genetic similarities based on the environment. So if we have two completely different species, and we should find genetic similarities based on between those two, if they thrive in the same environment, if evolution were true, that would be necessary according to evolution. Okay? I think it's necessary according to creation as well.
Right, and I'm saying that pattern doesn't always hold.
Demonstrated is when you said that's not true, you demonstrated that you just denied a very basic tenet of the evolution theory itself. Do you not know that?
Well, maybe I just understand evolution differently.
So, do fish all share genetic similarities because they live in the ocean? Would that not be true if evolution is true?
Not because they live in the ocean. It's
okay,
because
so you
they
don't
have a
understand
genetic
evolution
history
theory.
that links them.
When you understand evolution theory, when you've read about it, go to Berkeley and read about it. When you understand evolution theory, come back.
And there you
Okay,
go.
so yeah, that was an interesting little.
Yeah,
like, okay,
it wasn't as passionate, but I did find it interesting.
Yeah, if they live in the same environment, they should have the same genes, because God did it that way, and has nothing to do with.
Right. What I was trying to explain to him, but didn't have the time to, apparently, was the fact that under common ancestry, we don't expect them to be similar because of environment. We expect them to be similar because they're related to each other, because of their genetic history. So, for example, you can end up with similar morphologies like sharks and whales and things like that from completely different starting points, just because, like, when you compare them, you find that for instance, like the amino acids, redundancy of the amino acid code, like you can get the same amino acid from different codons. So same thing kind of applies to genes and morphology in general.
Yeah.
So. Well, and so like basically what he was saying is regardless of what organism you're talking about, that if these disparate organisms live in the same environment, then they will all come out similar. Like, and that's just not true, because different organisms are going to have different reactions to the environment around them and have different, means by which that they live suitably in that environment.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with the tuna and sharks, I just showed that their morphology doesn't depend on their environment, because when you go down into the specific anatomy, like, sure, they're similar on the outside, but that's not like the entirety of it. So environment doesn't determine the underlying morphology. The history of the organism and what organisms it came from determines that.
Well, okay, I got to unpack this a little bit. The genetics is going to depend on the history of the organism and where it came from, its ancestry, right? But now morphology, if you end up in the same environment, okay, bird wings and bat wings, they're going to have different genetics behind that. Right. Yeah, but the overall morphology is going to be very similar.
That's what I was laughing at. Whoever shared that, I don't know if it's Scott or Speed, but that's what I was just laughing at.
What was that? Yeah. What were you laughing at?
Brain bug. Said John Peterson has the same genetics as his cat because they live in the same environment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And okay, is that why paternity tests work between me and my brother, because we were brought up in the same household, or is it because we had the same daddy, mommy? I don't know. You really nailed him on the paternity thing, but he didn't even see it come. He absolutely didn't see it. But anyway, I think Nephi is kind of past his prime.
Yeah.
No,
I just get some
were
kicks out of
you
it.
kicked right after what we just watched, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just put me backstage and then I just left. Because there was no point.
I think what Nephi is, okay, so it's God. It has nothing to do with science. Until you back me into a corner, then I'm going to rattle off a bunch of science sounds.
Right. Exactly.
Oh.
This is why I love biogenetics, to be honest. Anyways.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks, Speed.
Jesus, look at that fucking rogues gallery on the screen right now.
Yeah. This is some fun here. Yeah.
Okay, so Digital Gnosis did a clip video coming from 2 different videos, all 3 of which are linked in my description. And if you go to the first one is Digital Gnosis, this video, and he links those 2 videos that he took information from. But he had a little conversation with Cell, and Cell got owie butt too, apparently. But no, I'm trying to figure out what he said to Cell that triggered him so badly. Maybe we can roll through it and find out.
Question him about his math.
Yeah.
He was famous for the quote. Yeah. You know, all these scientists are moving forward at they're just about to scale the top of the mountain, and they find a bunch of theologians waiting there for centuries. And he was an agnostic, but he was commenting that he 5 minutes later. And then so I nearly had my loss of faith 20 years ago, and then I started coming back through the first of all because I read Bertrand Russell, and he was saying he had this beautiful essay talking about how you read Bertrand Russell.
Yeah, well, that turned you back to the Christian faith. That's hilarious.
And so I also read it, but in a different way. Bertrand Russell, 5 minutes later, death of the solar system. And I was like, wow. If that is the viewpoint of atheism, I'm going to take what little scraps of evidence I have. I'm going to take what little scraps of evidence I have. I'm going to take what little scraps of evidence I have and go with it. Because he just, I said,
little say. I understand why he played that over and over.
Yeah, exactly. I love that part. Yeah.
Yep.
He said it so eloquently, and I'm like, this is a miracle. I wanted to share it. I started a university group in 2004, and I said, God, I want national attention. I ended up being on the cover of Nature. And I was like, why would they grab some random college student, school mechanics, plasma physics, and in my cosmology class, and I also studied under some other physics professors, and there was this kind of.
So what was that?
In my cosmology.
Bertrand Russell did say there was not enough evidence, which admits there's some, I don't know what the hell. I'm not sure what he was saying. Anyway, so he was quoting something from Bertrand Russell, who's kind of a famous atheist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And I like that he admits, and like you said, that's why whoever made this video played it over and over again. He basically comes out and says, yes, we have very little evidence to support scraps. We have scraps.
Yeah, scraps.
Also studied under some other physics professors, and there was this kind of discontent with the Big Bang. And I said, okay, there's a chance that 5 minutes later, Big Bang's going to come together. And I had professors and graduates who've been saying.
He keeps saying 5 minutes later. He skips over a whole bunch of Cell. And if you go to the original video on S.J. Thomas's channel, you'll find the whole thing. And there's a whole lot more in there to take a look at. So I don't like recommending her channel, but
the one thing I will say about what Sal said that he skipped over is there was no mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorems.
Yeah, well, so anyway, he called him. He questioned him.
Am I the only one that got that joke?
Because I work.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I began studying the theory of genetic deterioration, that humans couldn't have been here very long. 5 minutes later.
Way I'll look at it, and I'll try to be as fair as possible. I heard Graham Oppie's pretty good, and I haven't read any of his stuff, so maybe that's the one to look at.
He's got a good book.
You know what? Oh, sorry, Sam.
He's got a couple good books.
I was going to ask, do you know what Russell's theory of denoting is?
His theory of denoting?
Yeah.
I don't.
Can
know.
Danny,
hold on, can we slow this part down?
Sure.
Since this is the juicy stuff.
Right, and Leo, I want to ask you.
What's up?
Graham Oppie have anything on audio books?
I have no idea. If I was going to recommend somebody read by Graham Oppie, especially if you're an atheist, I would recommend A Companion to Atheism and Philosophy. Very good book. Very good book.
I'll look for it now.
For me, I would say that is recommended reading material if you are an atheist who wants to engage in, secular advocacy and atheism activism. Like if you're actively going out there, advocating for secularism and atheism, then this is a book you need to read.
Oh, let's see. He also wrote. I think did he do like Stanford Guide to Atheism or something? He was the editor or something.
I have no. I don't know.
Yeah, he was an editor of some big volume from. I think it was Stanford. I can't remember. Anyway, he also edited that, and there's a whole bunch of articles in there, plus a few papers by him. So anyway, okay, we'll slow it down.
Says.
No,
not at
go
all.
ahead and enlighten us, Nathan.
Just to say that those are two of the positions in philosophy he's most famous for. And I think if you're not familiar with them, I'm a bit skeptical of how much Russell, you've read. It seems more like Russell's being used there as a rhetorical device as like an avowal of prior skepticism thing. So like I'm so skeptical, I engage with the best of what they've got to offer. Everything Bertrand Russell's got to say, right? I'm intimately familiar with his best arguments.
No, I never said that.
Well,
Nathan, I have to say, I just said
that you said that, SJ.
No, I didn't, because all I said was I was told to read this one thing, Why I'm Not a Christian, which I did. That's all.
Yeah, and that was actually a radio show that was transcribed. But I think in Sal's case, it seems a little bit dishonest to me to be like, I mean, maybe that's a bit strong, but to be like, I'm intimately familiar with Russell's philosophy and what he's got to say, yet not familiar with two of the things that he's most famous for, right?
Well, I knew of him through my study of mathematics, actually, and computer science. And so he's a very respected name. I'm sorry to be insulting, but I don't regard philosophers in the modern day very highly, but I respected his mathematical stuff. But that passage there.
But he was referring to a bit of philosophy by Russell, right? And cherry picking that part of it.
And Russellism, Bertrand Russell would be considered, like more of a modernish analytic philosopher. So I don't know what Sal was talking about.
His theory of types is his mathematical stuff.
Well, I knew it from Russell's paradox, and I have that in my book on mathematical foundations. I never described it in terms of types.
What?
And
Did you say theory of types or types?
Yeah, he also.
Oh my God, SJ.
What overshadowed that was Gödel's work that proved the Principia Mathematica as faulty, and that was the big
Wait,
deal.
hold on, what?
So, sorry,
that makes no sense.
Read the theory of pipes because in mathematics, Gödel takes a lot more priority, and it was really framed in terms of refuting Russell's Principia Mathematica.
Could you tell me what Gödel's incompleteness theorem states? Sal.
There are questions that we cannot formally prove that beyond the power of the axioms. Now, he had it more
sort of
formally
one of
stated
them,
than I
yes.
just stated it.
What's the form of the proof?
I don't know it offhand, but
do you
that's
think
relevant.
do you think you should be
you want me to pull
mentioning
out
things?
I have shelves of math books if you want me to pull that out.
Have you read?
Okay. Is there any more you wanted to get out of this part, Leo?
I just think it's good to listen to. I think just Nathan really.
The whole thing.
It's funny.
Yeah, I don't want to play the whole thing. You should go to Digital Gnosis and listen to it. So, anyway, here's the funny part, and I definitely got to speed this shit up.
Well, just real quick.
No, you can't speed this next part up.
Yeah,
we have to.
Real quick. So, what does that mean when he says there are questions we can't prove? like isn't a question just it's a inquiry? Like why do you have to prove an inquiry? I'm asking a question as to why something happens or how something happens. Like
he just didn't word it well.
Yeah, it's very poorly worded, and it's not about questions. It's about
more
statements,
about certain propositions.
Statements which are true that cannot be shown to be true.
Well, I think formally the because there's two theorems that I off the top of my head only know the one, and it essentially states that any internally consistent system will intrinsically contain propositions that which the axioms of that system cannot prove. If you find that there are no propositions inside of some system that the axioms of that system fail to prove, then it must be an internally inconsistent system. So it's essentially saying that any internally consistent system, like in a logical mathematical sense, will always have axioms that cannot, or always have propositions that the axioms of that system cannot prove.
Okay. So now I don't. So Digital Gnosis, went after him a little bit, but he got pretty butthurt. And then later on, he went on another stream. Whose stream was he on the second time? I think the second stream.
Shit.
This is gold, Dad.
You should try to rewind it,
Graham.
because the part that I wanted everybody to hear is the part where he mentions, because I think it was still when he was on SJ's channel, but I might be wrong. It might be somewhere here where he mentions all the books, and then Nathan, it's like, well, I mean, have you read them? Have you made an attempt to understand what's in them, or have you just bought them?
Yeah, it's here. Okay, well, let's see.
Does the index show Gödel's incompleteness theorem? Nice thick book.
This part is so fucking
Mathematical
hilarious.
methods for physics.
I think this is pretty tragic.
And, sir, I thought it was my time to talk. You've had your chance to slime me.
Let's just let Sal finish, Nathan.
I'm trying to, I think it's a little embarrassing.
Is there Gödel's incompleteness theorem here mentioned? No. So that's one book. A book on variational mechanics, variational calculus, including Lagrange and Hamiltonians. Does this mention Gödel's incompleteness theorem? And I looked. And I did look before I came on the show, so I'm not going to bother paging through it. No mention of it.
Can you tell me what it is, Sal?
Hey, sir,
Can you tell me what the proof is? You're just listing things.
You have any defense except to interrupt me when I'm talking?
Yeah, I'd like you to tell me what
Gödel's calculus in quantum mechanics. The only component there was quantum mechanics, not Gödel's.
I want those books.
Joseph Elian's contemporary abstract algebra. And these are my textbooks, bro.
Nathan, you're not listening to what he's saying.
Gödel's incompleteness theorem there.
Handbook
of mathematical functions.
Nathan, I'll let you respond. Please be quiet.
Abrahamowitz and Stegen. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Introduction to probability and applications. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Mathematics of options trading. No mention of Gödel's theorem. Elementary numerical analysis. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Electrical engineering. Laplace transform solving circuits. Differential equations. No mention.
Okay, Leo, why are you laughing?
General relativity, differential, non-Euclidean geometry. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Mathematical analysis by Apostle. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
How many has this been now?
Freshman calculus. No mention of Gödel's
No.
Discrete mathematics. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Mathematical structures. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
Foreskin.
Introductory.
Oh, no.
Page
We gotta
27
let
is
this.
identity matrices.
We gotta let him
Ask me
finish.
about. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Linear algebra.
That's
no mention
it.
of Gödel's
Taking my
incompleteness
books and
theorem.
going home.
Contemporary abstract algebra. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. So what was this point of me showing all this?
Wait a minute, where was the doctor?
Can I just make a point here?
Well,
Gödel's
I did say Foreskin. I did say
philosophy of
Foreskin.
mathematics.
Wait.
Not
No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. You know, it's like no, okay. No mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Here, the all-in-one calorie counter. No mention of the Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
He never held the Bible up.
Foreskin, a second. Just to say, I have a copy of Hustler, and there is no mention of Gödel's incompleteness theorem in it. Sal actually said before showing all of those books about Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
Yeah.
So I don't care whether it's in any of the books or not. Sal was the one that brought up Gödel's incompleteness theorem. And all Nathan has said, as far as I can make out, was Yeah, could you just state what that is?
Well, here's what's interesting is he didn't, there was like a 1 minute segment where somebody questioned Sal for just if you question him for just a second, it kind of explains why him and I had a falling out. He has a very thin skin, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, very thin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why
that
do you
was a
think
rage.
that is?
I don't know.
I mean,
Well, okay.
I've theorized about why he was so offended because Nathan honestly didn't really do anything wrong. Nathan heard Sal talking, and by the way, just really quickly, books on multivariate calculus and electromagnetism and quantum mechanics and linear algebra are not going to mention Gödel most of what Gödel wrote, because what he worked on was in specifically mathematical logic, which is going to be tied more with like philosophical logic and the philosophy of mathematics. If you want to see mentions of that, you're going to need to look at those kinds of textbooks, not textbooks on versions of applied mathematics or higher order pure mathematics. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, all Nathan really did was just hear Sal mention something and then questions him. I'm like, okay, you were talking about Russell and that you've read Russell. Do you know what these two things that are like very, very, very basic, very foundational to like most of his work? He's the most well-known things he's done. Do you know what they are? Well, no, I don't. Well, that causes me to raise an eyebrow to how much you've actually read Russell. I mean, it would be like me asking somebody mentioning Stephen Hawking and all his great physics work, and I say, have you heard of his incompleteness theorems? And they go, no, and I'm just going to be that's going to cause me to raise an eyebrow and question how much of Stephen Hawking you've actually read.
Nathan also asked some other questions, right? There was a couple of other mathematical questions he asked him.
Yeah, I didn't.
Sal didn't know that either.
Yeah,
and interestingly, he asked him what R4 is, and for linear algebra, you probably should have been able to come
four-dimensional
up
vector
with
space of real numbers, where the
real
component
numbers,
vectors
right?
are real numbers. Otherwise, it'd be C4, C super 4 if it was a complex vector space. But the point that I was trying to get at there is that all Nathan did is provide a reasonable question. Some skepticism to Sal's understanding of some things that Sal is mentioning. And I feel like Sal got defensive because just by asking those very basic questions, Nathan revealed that Sal is sort of almost just like name dropping here. He doesn't really understand any of the material that these people have written. He's just sort of like throwing their names out for the sake of sounding, more intellectual than perhaps he is. And another thing is the fact that Sal, Sal does actually have a master's degree in applied physics from Johns Hopkins. But I think the reason why he didn't know what an identity matrix is, which is a matrix where its main diagonal has all ones and all the rest of them are zeros, or I think vice versa. Or what R4 meant, isn't because Sal hasn't ever taken these classes, but I don't think Sal has ever actually utilized his degree or any of the knowledge he gained after he got it. I don't think he ever actually, and if he did, it wasn't much. Like, I don't think he spent his life doing hardcore, rigorous academic level research, applying these concepts. He come in school that 20-something plus years ago and has slowly forgot it because he never was in a position where he was applying that. Not probably because he turned into leaned into creationism.
You know what this reminds me of here? It reminds me of another younger creationist who on Friday at on that really cool Grr Mania stream, Immutable asked Otangelo, is it possible that there are gaps in your knowledge about chemistry? And that
boy, he got hurt.
He got butt hurt, and he refused to talk to Immutable after that. And that's a very fair question to somebody who's an autodidact. Is there an incompleteness in your
what was the question?
I was just on a stream with him where he said, "I'm not an expert in anything."
I really like.
Otangelo said that. Yeah.
Can we watch that, Speed?
Oh,
before you do, I just want to talk about Sal for a second here. So there are two things. Firstly, he mentioned Russell's Principia Mathematica, and I have absolutely no doubt that he is not finished that book. Nobody finishes that book. You can't get through that book. I mean, you've got to be a fucking PhD just to even go close to reading the thing. Let alone understanding it. And then the second thing is. the reason I think the reason he gets very touchy when anybody questions his credentials is because his money is derived from the creationist community, and the reason that they give him money to do things is because he has these credentials, which are genuine credentials, like Leo's saying, in applied physics mainly. But of course, he's been making money off these people for some years. And so, no, he's never found a job in applied physics, because that would actually have to mean he would have to interact with real scientists, right?
Right.
Absolutely academics, well, not academic necessarily, but experimental physicists. And those guys are picky as fuck.
Hey, real quick, I've been trying to say this for like 5 minutes now. Did anybody notice when he was holding the books up how pristine and smooth all the spines on those books were?
Those books have just been sitting on a shelf. That's what it looks like.
And anyway, what he should have done is just said, I haven't read a lot of Russell, and I just had this one quote, and I just wanted to share it with you. That was it, right? And I got butthurt about it. Yeah. And the thing is that Sell has been beaten his entire life with this creationist thing, because he's been a creationist. He admits that he admits in this video to a whole lot of stuff about his timeline. Like, he admits to being brought up in a Catholic household. Then he claims to have become a Christian at 15. Well, if you're brought up in a Catholic household, you're a Christian when they splash water on you when you're a baby, right? So I think what he meant is he became a Presbyterian or a Protestant when he was 15.
Born again, presumably, yeah.
Okay, but then he says, I was questioning evolution even as a teenager because of consciousness. And then later on, he claims that he had this crisis of faith because he started to believe, because he was an old Earth. How long was he an old Earth creationist? About 3 days? 25 minutes?
About 6 days, and on the 7th day he changed his mind.
On the 7th day, yeah, exactly. So I mean, he has been kicked around his entire career on forums, and that's one of the reasons why he is so sensitive. But Sel, if you're listening, take a chill pill, and just fucking develop a little, and just admit, to where you don't know things, and stop cherry picking quotes.
Why was he on the cover? He said something about being on the cover of Nature magazine.
He was, yeah.
But what was the why though?
He started a creationist society at some big university. I don't know what the hell they were trying to do, but anyway, they got national attention for it
and money. It's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah,
exactly what I was saying. I mean, it really stands out. And again, like Leo was saying, right? I think if he was a theoretical physicist, I would expect him to know all of those maths questions, but not being an applied physicist necessarily.
Yeah.
Right. Even at advanced level, right? It's more about the experimental physics than it is actually about working out the models. So I'm not surprised he doesn't realize. Or
he got his degree and hasn't ever used anything that he learned since he got it, and so he forgot what all these things mean, and that's why he doesn't know it, and that's why he gets, a little offended when people question what he knows, because it's like he knows he has the degrees and he knows he should know it, but he also knows because he went the creationism route, he never got a legitimate job doing research in these fields, and so never applied that knowledge to keep it fresh in his mind. Like Simon said, if you'd have thrown somebody that was a postgraduate researcher at let's say the Institute for Advanced Study in Theoretical Physics, they'd have been like, oh, R4, that's just a 4-dimensional vector field where the components of the vectors are real numbers. Oh, what's an identity matrix? So that's a matrix where the main diagonal is all ones and all the other numbers are zeros.
I mean,
simple as that.
Granted, you forget a lot of that shit. If you went to school 30 years ago. Yeah,
I did pure maths. I haven't forgotten most of that.
Yeah, actually,
basic stuff. It's basic.
I'm a high school dropout, and I knew the R4 and the identity matrix.
Yeah.
So I don't know. High school dropouts know that shit. So
that's a worthy brag. I think that's a worthy brag.
It is, yeah. Anyway, but we all brag about the shit. I brag about meeting Bill Gates and being involved in early computers and crap like that. So.
Wait! Did you actually meet Bill Gates? I don't think I ever knew this.
Yeah, I did, but I'm not going to brag about that right now.
I mean, you just did.
And when Speed talks about his work with early computers, he of course is speaking of Abacus.
The Abacus,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I thought it was looms.
Yeah, and where you put your hand in the modem and you had the other hand on a fountain pen, and that was a printer. So,
I thought it was a loom, but there you are.
Oh, what do you think those modems? What those modems had little holders so you could put your hand in them. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Put your hand in it.
Yep, put your hand in it. That's the way we did it in Minnesota.
I don't want to be rude, but I know Andrew had some questions for me, and I do got to get headed to a buddy's house here in about 10 minutes. So I wanted to see if you could ask
for you.
I wanted to see if you could ask me those questions. Of course, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them in here right now. 8 if you count Sal.
Hey, wait a minute.
I know.
Hold on there.
What? 7? There's 7.
Anyway, Andrew, let's get through this because it might take a little while to get the explanation out.
Yep.
I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Hey, so you got a point, Simus.
Oh, should I ask my question then?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If Speed will let you.
Oh yeah, is it okay if I derail the topic for a sec, Speed?
We're done with that topic.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So Leo, I just got an email from a professor today on some quantum information that I just been reading about recently, and one of the things they said was that decoherence is debated over on as to whether it can solve the measurement problem, and I was wondering if you could explain that to me.
So the measurement problem essentially says, why is it that prior to some measurement being made on a system, we can only, indeterministically understand the system? If we make a measurement, then we've got definite properties. Why is that? Some physicists, but actually I think a majority of theoretical physicists, in fact, would say, well, that's because in order to measure the system, you must interact with it in some way, generally utilizing some classical system, in which case the information contained within that quantum system leaks into the classical system, or in the technical terms, it decoheres into its environment, which in turn changes the way the system behaves, and that's why we don't get definite measurements. Some physicists would say, well, no, decoherence doesn't seem to fully explain why we only have statistical information about a system prior to measurement, because the system decohering shouldn't explain why prior to that decoherence we don't know, we only know the system statistically. Why is that the case? So there's a debate on as to whether or not it does, whether regardless of which side you're on, it does partially answer the measurement problem. Decoherence is a part of it. Some physicists would say it's all we need. Other ones would say no. There's must be something more there.
Oh,
go ahead. No, Andrew, you go ahead.
Oh, so does that by any chance have anything to do with the Everettian interpretation?
I guess in a
not really.
sense, in some sense, yes. Because the Everettian model would say that wave function collapse isn't real. It's what we see in our mathematics anytime there's a branching event in the timeline.
Okay, because the way I understand decoherence is basically the quantum information is lost because things become more and more entangled with each other, and wouldn't that make it more uncertain in a sense? Or I'm kind of confused. I'm sorry.
What do you mean?
Like you were saying, before a measurement, we can only know statistical information or what we would call quantum information about it, and then after a measurement, we have classical information in terms of it's right here, it's right there, it has this property, as this other property, and I guess I'm trying to understand, like, is it the same way decoherence kind of explains why classical things emerge once you have enough quantum things, if that makes sense?
In a sense, yeah.
Okay.
Decoherence and entanglement are very, very closely related and are much more important than a lot of people give them credence for in quantum mechanics. Both of them probably are very heavily related to entropy and what we call the arrow of time. And this is giving rise to a new field that has been dubbed quantum thermodynamics.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Right. Thanks, Leo.
Okay.
Quantum thermodynamics. That quantum. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, you're a little weak today, but I'll turn you up a little bit.
Quantum thermodynamics. That seems interesting.
Oh shit! Now we can hear you.
It's quite an interesting field, yes.
Anyway, okay. Lady Midnight Sparkle. Let's see. So I had one more thing from Cell, and I haven't watched any of this except I just randomly picked apart, and I'm very curious about this Christian mindset when I heard this, and I don't see if you can see what I mean. Was it at 422? Okay. So this was a long stream.
His last book, Are We Unique? He was relating to some things that happened at George Mason, and he said for the first time in his life he did the sign of the cross. I'm presuming he had either Catholic or Anglican or Eastern Orthodox upbringing, but he was very disturbed when he felt some people were thinking that we could create consciousness in the computer. It bothered him. And he said, for the first time in my life, I trembled and I prayed. So praise God for that. I'm hoping the Lord's reaching out to him.
So what the fuck? So the guy makes, I don't know who he was talking about, but he makes the sign of the cross when he hears that they're attempting to make computers conscious. Why would that be so disturbing to the Christian?
Because that's what separates us from animals.
That's it.
Well, it's disturbing to me because I saw Terminator. But other than that, I don't make the sign of a cross.
That's what the image. That's what in the image of God means. It means we're conscious. So to some Christians, anyway.
Well, honestly, like I know a lot of people are afraid of AI taking over, but people are actually afraid of AI's goals. Like not aligning with their goals. That's what they're really afraid of, not the AI itself.
So
Alrighty, guys.
I always wondered about that distinction.
Bye, Leo.
I would say that.
Bye, Leo.
Bye, Leo.
I just wanted to say quickly, I put 3 links, one from Nature Journal, one from Quantum Magazine, and one from Phys.org on quantum thermodynamics in the side chat, in the private chat for you, Midnight and Andrew, if you want to check those out.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm out at 5,000.
I always wondered about that, though, the consciousness thing, because isn't it wrong to say that unlike animals, humans have consciousness? I mean, because animals, I think, have a form of consciousness. It's just a lower form of it than what we have.
No, I was expressing a Christian view. I wasn't expressing I wasn't expressing a naturalist view.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it that way.
Well, I wasn't necessarily balking at you having brought it up. I was balking at the Christians saying that.
I mean, let me just put it this way then. I heard someone saying this weird fucking shit the other day, and I think it may have been Sal, but I'm not certain, about embodied souls. Right, so that's what God gave us, souls, and that's consciousness, right? That's the connection between the body and consciousness, which is the thing that needs to be saved, and that's kind of part of their thesis on an afterlife, is why you go to an afterlife, because it's your soul that goes there. Go ahead.
I don't know who he was talking about, what author it was, whether he was he must have been some sort of a believer to make the sign of the cross when he heard that. But I mean, that would freak them out, and that is going to freak them out. And that's one of the reasons why religion really has to disappear before the turn of the century, because that kind of stuff's going to happen. I mean, we're going to end up with that kind of stuff. So
I think it'll be really hard to separate the language I mean, I think the idea will definitely become a thing of the past in time.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're ever going to get over the language part of it. I think there's always going to be this reference to a higher being. Right? That's just
God, I
nature.
hope so. Or I hope you're wrong.
Well, I'm pretty sure there will be. I think it'll change its name, but I don't think God. I think people will always call it God. They won't mean this kind of what you call it, agency, theism with agency, so to speak. It'll become more pantheistic than anything.
Well, more spiritual in nature, and spirituality refers to biology. It doesn't refer to anything to do with supernatural. That's what we are, basically spiritual animals. We exist and we operate 90% emotions, 99% emotions, and we also exist in the world. We're all sitting our butts on a chair right now. We all feel the chair. We all feel the wind. We all we all have people that we love. We have strong emotions, strong connections. That's all tied into spirituality, and that is our animal nature. So,
yeah, I think the Egyptians. Have you seen the Ankh symbol?
Don't recall, but heard the name. Yeah.
Yeah, Ankh symbol, which is like one of the letters of the Egyptian alphabet, but it refers to life, and it's the breath of life, which is which is the spiritual part, right?
And it reminds me of vitalism. If Speed, you remember that from biology?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And I just want to point out, I am not sitting in a chair right now. I am sitting on the back of my gimp, who is on all fours.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you feel your gimp under your butt.
Well, having just been on Nathan,
going to make a Danny joke, but all right, go ahead.
Having just been on Nathan's stream, I'd say we all masturbate. So, and I think Martin hopefully will get that joke.
What is that?
No, there was a guy just asking Orthangelo about masturbation.
Oh no, I'm just wondering.
It was quite funny at the time.
I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
Okay. It's been that long, has it, Speed?
It's been that long. Anyway, okay.
Speaking of emotions, Sal was showed a little bit of that today in that stream.
Yeah.
He was being very spiritual.
Yeah. Yes.
Very spiritual.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the guy he's got to grow a thicker skin if he's going to do this shit. It's just,
yeah.
I mean, God, what if Smokey went after him? What if Smokey goes after Sal? I mean, it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to point out, Atheist Jr. did an interview with Kent Hovind's ex-wife, and then last night, I think, or yesterday, he did this talking with Mark Stoney, who is an escapee of the Kent Hovind cult, as he calls it. And this interview is something everybody has to watch, because it's got 361 views already. He'll probably go to quite a few thousand, because this guy is telling a story about Kent Hovind that's pretty thick with crime, sex trafficking, possibly, and a bunch of other shit. And it's like, holy shit. Yeah.
I hope these guys these people are consulting their lawyers before going on in public. I'd hate for something to happen.
I'm really worried about this guy. I'm worried about his physical safety and the way he came after Kent Hovind, and he's already had threats. So
I mean, don't worry. Don't worry about it. As long as it doesn't piss off the Clintons, he'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's
anyway. So
this is the same guy that got fired from the Ark base, perchance, or is this a different guy?
No, it's he was at Dinosaur Adventureland. He was there when that little boy drowned.
No.
And I guess they went swimming with jeans on. They didn't have life preservers. There was no good moderation, and he blames Kent Hovind for that. So, and I think his daughter was there when that happened, so they saw that whole thing. And then he talks about he has a real chilling thing about Kent Hovind going to the hospital basically with that boy's parents. Apparently, they probably tried to revive him, and handing out literature and telling jokes after this little kid got killed. So, anyway,
Wow.
it's a chilling interview. Don't I no idea what the validity of what this guy's saying is, but if any of this shit starts coming out, Kent Hovind is toast. So,
I mean, he's already toast.
he's toast anyway.
Well, yeah, because nobody takes him seriously except standing for truth.
Yeah. So, and Grr Mania had an amazing stream the other night with Otangelo, and I was on there for a while. And Otangelo got Owie Butt. We talked about that, and he's in the chat right now. So, I believe I've linked that show, but let's see if I haven't. I have so many links.
I wish we could have talked about Tangelo's comment on the stream that Atheist Jr. did with the ex-wife too. That was kind of a chilling comment that he left on there, but it got erased, right? He was He was defending Kent, basically.
Yep.
That was kind of a little revealing for Tangelo, right? Yeah.
What was he saying? Why go after the person or something? What was he?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I gotta find the Grr Mania stream and link that. Let's see, what else do we have?
That was quite strange to me because there was a lot of pallying up to Smokey in that stream, which I felt really repulsed at. Actually, I felt icky.
Oh yeah.
I found it very distasteful. Actually, some of the pallying up to Smokey that was going on.
There's quite a bit of that going on lately. It seems to be going around.
It is. It is.
Yeah, and it seems like even some of his worst enemies, the people he's gone after the hardest, seem to be sidling up to him.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all.
Not to mention,
but that's what happens. It's the views, isn't it? It's the old view machine, I suppose. You know what I mean? Controversy and drama is what gets views. So, the temptation to have that is high, it's strong. It's the force, right? It's the dark side of the force.
Well, and it's I want to commend Speed because this channel. I mean, he's jokingly said it in conversations that, I guess I got to go do the dumpster fire shit if I want to, but he, sticks to his guns and he wants to keep this channel drama free. And I commend him for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm my viewership is suffering as a result, I think, but so be it. I don't know.
We do a little bit, we do.
Yeah, we do a bit.
It's fun to do a little. You just don't want to get into the real crap.
I don't want to get down there in the bottom, where the pigs are licking the bottom of the trough.
Yeah,
I'll certainly be having a go at those people that were chumming up to him next time I see them in any hangout. So if I'm in a hangout with any of those people, you can expect some flack from me.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a small chat with you after the stream ends about that particular topic, because I'm a little bit confused about a few things. So anyway, okay. So what else we got here? So we have Grr Mania, and then of course Maddox was there, and they were going on about gene sequencing. And I could probably, should I share that one, or should I go right over to? Whoops, I mistakenly played. So okay, hang on a second.
I think you should go to whichever one where we don't have to hear John Maddox talk.
That's unfortunately. That was my next.
Happen.
That was my next thing. Let's see. But I can't find it. Oh, fortunately, I can't find it. So you guys go ahead and.
Well, I have such a strong impression of his voice in my head, and if I could do American accents, I would absolutely rip the shit out of that one. But unfortunately, I can't. But I hear it in my head. I know it in my head. I can hear him just saying
Maddox?
just being so condescending that it's not true.
What word does he use most often in his speech?
Literally.
Literally.
No, I think it's I believe it's
Okay,
I've heard somehow a lot.
the macro point being extrapolated, or the point that's being made in any other context, XYZ. So the whole premise uses the concept of, in the context of, from the perspective
You seriously believe that a free printer could have, I don't know where to go from there.
Yeah.
The
point being delineated.
You cannot justify because you have no grounding.
Yeah.
Another one.
That's a big one.
Does anyone want to talk some cosmology?
Ooh, I hate fucking cosmology.
Oh, why don't you teach me phylogeny like you were going to do the other day?
I guess I could. So you're gonna be my guinea pig today, John, not David.
I prefer student.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Well,
okay. So first, let me say what I think my overview of it is, just to, like a sentence or two.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good.
You tell me why I'm wrong or why I'm right. So to me, all phylogeny is a system, by which we can examine the tree of life and see where populations diverged from one another to create different species.
I think that's one way of looking at it. I would I tend to look at it as kind of what so you know who Carolus Linnaeus was, right?
I've heard the name. That's about all I can say.
Okay.
Probably out of your guys' mouth.
All right. So never mind that. I'll explain it a different way. So I tend to think of phylogenetics as earlier schemes of classifications, but in such a way that we're trying to find close relationships between species. So you mentioned the tree of life, for example. So it's kind of finding what one way of looking at it is like which one of these things is not like the other. That old Sesame Street game, and that's kind of the basic foundation of phylogenetic methodology is which one of these things is not like the others, so that we can conclude that the other things we're looking at are more closely related to each other than the thing we basically kicked out. And so it's basically trying to find relationships and such, and I don't know if that helps or not.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I mean, and like for some reason, this is what it reminded me of, is like how in the Bible, bats are equated with birds, but then when you do what you were just talking about, then you find out, well, no, yeah, bats have wings like birds, but they're not birds,
Right, and that gets into the important distinction to be made between certain characters, or characters in this case being just traits or DNA sequences or specific nucleotides, just anything you can compare between species that might say indicate their relationships, basically. And one distinction to be made, and I really liked the way Dr. Dan described this with his talk with Sal the other day, is kind of the difference between apomorphies and plesiomorphies, and how that's kind of a relative distinction. Basically, one example would be, for example, in birds, feathers, or in comparison to like lizards or crocodiles or things like that, feathers would be an apomorphy because it's found in birds, but not the other groups being studied. So presumably it's a newly evolved trait. Now, if you're to look within the group geese within birds, for instance, then feathers are now a plesiomorphy because all birds have feathers. So kind of all the rest of the groups you're looking at besides geese have that trait, so it's ancestral, if that makes sense. And
yeah, all of those funny morphe words that get tossed around have to do with the context of what you're looking at, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It depends on the group you're studying.
Right, and it's a difficult thing sometimes to comprehend when you first start, trying to learn those terms. There's too damn many morphes: apomorphy, simplesiomorphy, or
the other one is synapomorphy.
Synapomorphy, which is a combination of sin and apple. So yeah,
right. And in this example, a synapomorphy would basically be feathers, but between dinosaurs and non-avian dinosaurs and avian dinosaurs, in this case birds, and that unites them. They both share that characteristic in comparison to other reptiles. So that's a synapomorphy. So like I said, it depends on how many groups you're looking at and the like you said, the context in which you're looking at them.
But the most important thing you have to learn about synapomorphy and all of the morphes is as soon as you use those words, you lose 99% of your audience.
Right. Yeah, that's why I tend to refer to it more as a shared unique characteristic. It's a unique characteristic that is shared by all the groups under study. That's basically what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not all the groups under study, just the some of them.
Each of the words you're using then just further narrows the group for the trait.
So a synapomorphy can be a simplesiomorphy in some context. But basically, what you're trying to find is you have these groups, and you're trying to unite them and make more and more inclusive groups. And you do that by finding synapomorphies going back further and further along the tree. So for example, it kind of depends, because we as humans, for example, share more synapomorphies with chimps in this context than we do with gorillas or orangutans, for instance, just because of the fact that we're more closely related to chimps than we are to those other apes. But if you go back far enough, you're going to find synapomorphies, but it forms this hierarchical pattern that I so often harp on, that basically you're going to find synapomorphies no matter what. It just depends on the kind of the level. It's a method of comparison, is what I should say. It all depends on what you're comparing against what.
What trait you're comparing against?
What species you're comparing against another species, or a phylum against another phylum, which those terms are kind of outdated now, but I'm going to use them anyway. And comparing the traits between them, basically. So it's kind of like the old schemes of classifications. In this context, we now have statistical ways of determining those relationships, and now we know evolution happens, of course. So now we develop these branching tree diagrams or cledograms.
And then, all right. So you say you go back further and further, and then you're going to find common traits among vaster groups of biology. Like, so is that why, like, when we talk about how Kent Hovind always makes fun of the fact of like pine trees and elephants,
right.
But it's because you're going back further and further and comparing it with a basic trait, like being a eukaryote or something like that. And that's why the ones with that trait are such a vaster group.
Right. Yeah. The traits going back that far are rather basal, meaning, or in this context, they're kind of conserved, like the basic biochemical functions, or just the fact that they all have nuclei, or things like that. Like those are all shared between them. It's this fact that as you get to more and more, or I should say less and less inclusive groups. So you're going further and further down the tree, basically into narrower and narrower categories. You're actually going to find that the taxa you're looking at start sharing more and more synapomorphies between them than, say, like you're going to find fungi and animals, for instance, share more in common than either of them do with plants. But at the same time, you're going to find that within animals, like I said before, different. What's a good example? Like, you see what I'm saying, though, right? Like it gets more and more. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the words as I go along. It's
inclusive.
Yeah. As you get to groups further and further down the tree, and you start excluding more and more other groups, the groups you're left with are going to share more in common with each other than the groups you left out.
Got a question on the screen for you, Andrew.
Oh, okay. How do you determine convergent evolution and do not confuse it? Yeah, so
the genes are different.
The way I understand it, so it's like there are obvious examples, for instance, wings of different vertebrates, for instance, but it's not always that obvious going down the tree. And sometimes this is the whole reason we have these optimality criterion in phylogenetics, like parsimony and likelihood and things like that, to basically sort out when characters conflict with each other, like one suggesting one phylogenetic relationship and another suggesting a different phylogenetic relationship. This is why you have to compare all the traits under study, not just a few. And once you do that, and you see, oh, okay, these are actually not very closely related. They must have evolved this trait independently, because all this list of other traits, they don't share, or they indicate this phylogenetic pattern, if that makes sense. So the convergence is discovered after you look at many different traits.
And with that, Andrew has now made me more learned in phylogeny than Ken Hogan.
I think I did a poor job of it. Sorry, I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to explain, but also explain it in a meaningful way, and I'm not always good at doing that.
And there's a bit more. There's a bit more to this convergent evolution thing.
Yeah.
But go ahead, John. Did you want to make a quick point?
Well, no, I just was commenting to Andrew that I thought he did a fine job.
Yeah. I was just saying I'm not a teacher or anything, so Dr. Dan could probably do it a lot better. But I hoped I made enough sense.
Okay, so if the genes aren't enough to convince you that the bat and the bird have basically a different pathway to getting a wing, then you can also look at when you look into the anatomy, you can see the difference here with the phalanges not being all that important in the bird exactly, but much different in the bat. Plus, the bat has membrane instead of feathers, right? Okay, and so I mean that's another way. And if that doesn't convince you, you can look into the embryology, and you'll find very, very different development pathways for these things that are simply convergent. And
I'm just saying it's not always this obvious. For instance, like when
you
go to teeth, for instance, it's a rather easy trait to go back and forth, which is why, like I said, you need to compare more than one gene or more than one morphological characteristic.
Also, the eyeball too, right? It's in the eyeball.
Yeah.
There's 4 different versions of the eyeball evolving, right? 4 or 5 or something on different types.
Okay, so this is an interesting question. So if you look at it from the creationist point of view, when God made, so the point they make is that the reason the genes are the same, the reason we see phylogenies genetically, is because, well, God just, used the same tools over and over again. Well, why the hell didn't he do that with the bird and the bat? Why didn't he create a mammal with feathers and a bird-like wing, or a bird with membranous wings?
And that's why I asked Neff this whole question about tuna and sharks and things like that, because you can see a lot of examples of that, and this whole idea of convergence, basically, it fits pretty well once you have enough data. So like the creationists make it seem like they just invented this as a rescue device or things like. No, we understand how to cope with these.
Right. And before I forget again, I think we have a anti-evolutionist in our room, Martin, and he's been very, very quiet and patient.
Oh.
So,
I'm here, man. What do you call me, Speed? Martin, huh? I lost my
Martin. Yeah, some people call you Martine.
Yeah.
But no, there aren't two E's, there are two A's, so you're Martin.
Martine is a big ID proponent, right? Martine? Big ID.
I'm not sure what I am there. I just know there must be a creator. That's like, I think this...
I'm sorry. You would get along very well with John Maddox. Have you had any chats with?
No.
I think he has more anger problems than me.
No, I think Martin's a little more rational than that character that you just brought up.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
But I'm glad we haven't like fight or anything, but it's probably coming. Like
it's coming, man.
Yeah. Let me show you.
Hashtag John Maddox Grifter.
Ready for you. Let me get my guns.
Well, we got to do a one-on-one sometime and talk about spirituality, religion, humans, creators, old Earth creators.
We can talk about anything.
Yeah, theistic evolution.
My gun is here. Come visit me.
Oh, yeah, but I have to. Will they let me bring my guns there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what about Antangelo? Because you come from an engineering type background, right?
Oh, you got one. You got one.
Yeah, I'm a industrial engineer.
Yeah. So
and Antangelo, he's a nice guy, but he also has some anger problems sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Tangelo's not. He's a designer. He's not. He said he's not an engineer. So
did he say something about he designs machines, factories, or something?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I don't know what he means by that.
I thought it was air conditioning units, wasn't it?
So, I'm not sure.
Wait, who
they
said
Antangelo.
They certainly need them. Yeah, he needs them where he is, I think.
Have you had a couple of battles with Antangelo, Martin? Is that why you say that? Or you say he has anger problems?
No. I also sometimes when I type to atheists, then I get in trouble. Like, but when I speak to you guys, it's friendly and it's nice and stuff. But typing, it's some misunderstandings. Like even with girls, I just get in trouble. Like if I type.
Everybody gets in trouble when they talk to the ladies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
We always put our foot in our mouths somehow.
That's what they call women troubles.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to freak out here. I can see myself on the screen there, but how am what's going on? I'm so confused.
You're on the screen.
It's an infinite loop.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a window loop.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep. Yeah.
What position is that when your foot's in your mouth?
Peter's
that is the original missionary position. Foot and mouth. I don't know. Yeah. I go shopping a lot with my ex-wife, and it's pretty funny. And we are like oil and water in the store. It takes her 4 hours to pick out a pair of shoes, and then she goes home without shoes. It took her 15 minutes yesterday to pick out paper plates and she ended up like putting one in the cart, and then she took the other one out. And then me, on the other hand, she tells me that I need impulse control, so I went looking all over Walmart for impulse control and couldn't find it anywhere. And by the time she had bought her paper plates, I had like 8 things in the cart, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the hell she's talking about. So yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Hang on a sec. Sorry, John. Peter's out there looking for a link, by the way.
Yeah.
Who is?
I saw that.
Who's
Peter.
looking for a link?
Peter.
Oh.
Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a difference between genders, but like sometimes I'll go in there and I'll take my time. But for the most part, when I go do shopping, I'm almost literally running down the aisles and just throwing shit in the cart. And still ending up with everything I went and intended to get. You know, like
I once bought a brand new car in 5 minutes. I walked into the showroom and said that one, and that was it. It's just like it would have taken her. It would have taken her, Christ, 4,000 years to make that same decision. You know, at the rate she makes decisions. So anyway,
now, I know what you mean. I went on a website. I bought a wife in under 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that's where I got her. It took me like less than 5 minutes to get her.
Wait, he said that he went on a website and found a wife in 5 minutes?
Oh yeah, 5 minutes. Oh my God! What the hell is going on here, Peter? Oh my God!
I need walking on water.
I need my brain restored. I was in a chat with 2 Christians, one of which was Jill, so no explanation needed. The other one,
it's your own fault. It's your own fault.
The other one tried to convince us that fallen angels came down to Earth, had sex with women, and created giants. And and his evidence was giant statues.
Yeah.
Lovely,
I wanted to stay.
Was that jungle jargon, perchance? Was it?
No, I haven't heard of this one before.
Man, that wasn't Roger from Mud Fossil University, was it?
No, his name is Why Non-Believers Are Idiots, and he has a massive 37 subscribers to his channel.
Oh, I thought you were going to say chip on his shoulder, but okay.
I wanted to stay there, Peter, so bad because Jill jumped in, and I've never been on a stream with Jill ever, but I had to come to this because Speed was starting. That's why I had to leave. But yeah,
I will never forgive you for not warning me that this was happening. You left me there with Jill.
Well, and I also wanted to warn. I tried to warn Sydney about that guy. I don't know if you guys knew of him or not. I tried to warn you guys of him, but I think you enjoyed playing with him anyway, right? I mean, a little bit. I don't know. You could have kicked him. But,
I think I lost several IQ points.
Yeah, he's like that guy is out there. He's got to be. He's either got some screws loose or he's a troll. One of the something. I don't know.
When I left, his profile picture literally said troll.
Yeah. So
Speed, is that Thor or the other one?
Oh, that's nice.
This is Thor.
Hi, Thor.
The other one was up here before the last time I turned the camera on. That was Loki.
And I couldn't wait until tomorrow until Simon goes live. I need part of my intelligence back, so I needed to link to this.
Yeah.
I'm live tomorrow, 8 o'clock GMT. Review of the Styrian Grand Prix.
Exactly.
That's my chill. My chill. So.
And I've got something special.
And there is a grand unveiling by Peter in that hangout.
Yes. Ooh. Something that will blow your mind.
Yeah. Okay. I hope it's a joint because.
Well, I have some mind-blowing things from John Maddox of the Grifter, but I think I'm going to save them for the weather report because we're getting.
Why is that? I always miss the fun here. Whenever you go, so this week you talked about Otangelo and you didn't have me there.
Huh?
Well, I wait for you to show up. You show up magically.
I never get a link. Where do all these people get their links?
if I give you a link, it'll just encourage you.
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
It does.
It's true.
Speed, I have some timestamps for that. I can just email them to you or whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, Friday night in the smoke room, or one of his other appearances. He's got a he has been everywhere. I mean, he pops up everywhere.
The last stream that you just had on, which was that was Sal's stream, I think, right?
Right.
The one that you just had on, I got like 3 timestamps for that, so we can.
Oh, he was there too.
We'll save it for tomorrow.
Okay, Creo has something here. Yeah, I think. Wait a minute.
Okay, guys. So I would like someone to ask something about phylogeny. So because it just
evolution.
So basically, what
we
I
don't.
Yes, about evolution and phylogeny. So basically, what
we don't believe in that anymore on this channel.
I know. So guys, it is questions like, for example, so the clinicians have a model like I'm gonna just draw the different kinds was created like that. So for example, this is kinds, but these kinds in the process can change in some way. They do not accept like full macroevolution, whatever that means, because I don't know, because it actually does not contradict the biblical text that creatures can evolve. So basically what my question is, according to this model, they can actually be something like that. So this is sort of diversification. I'm gonna draw from one basic type as in different types. So basically, and what I am displaying like here is, for example, this would be my idea about convergent evolution from different baramins. So basically, it does not contradict the creationist model. That these are different kinds created, they can adapt, and they end up ending in convergent evolution. So, and actually, how do we? I know this is not true, of course, but how exactly do we distinguish this scenario from the normal evolution perspective? That, for example,
the difference is creationists will say that it can adapt, but there's a limit, and they can't tell you what the limit is or what is causing the limit. So adaptation after adaptation,
but for example,
after adaptation will give you an entirely new species, and the creationists will say only adaptation happens. Okay, but if an adapted animal adapts, what happens then? And if it adapts again, what happens then? And that, according to the creationists, is not possible.
Okay, but look, I actually.
I'm sorry. I want to add to what Peter just said, because he mentioned at the beginning micro and macro evolution, and the smarter folks in the room can tell me whether I'm right or wrong here. But I think a big part of it too is that they try and make this distinction between micro evolution and macro evolution. When
but there
really
is John. There is. Micro is below speciation.
I understand
macro,
that, but if you would let me finish my statement, you would find that I'm gonna, basically say the same thing you are. The distinction
but
is
it is smooth border between it, because
what's
it is smooth border between it because speciation is gradualistic process, and there are like some kind of speciation what particularly can interpret and particularly not, and like that.
Macroevolution is just an accumulation of microevolution. I mean, it's just a continuation of that.
Yes.
And it builds up so many.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, you can't fight them on points, because they can make up anything they want. Because if God did it, God could have done it any way He wanted. So it's you just can't battle that stuff factually, right? I mean, the only thing
there is some restriction about what they do. Yes.
Yeah, they
actually no, they cannot say anything. They have some limitation in their model, because because scripture does say some facts. It is broad, but there is some limitation. So what I am showing right now is, for example, we know the examples where creationists would say this convergent evolution between different phenomena happen. For example, we know examples of humans would have lesser brains than a big monkey who have big brain. For example, humans will be hobbits, or another hominids with low brain, and big apes would have a larger brain. So this is example of traits what intersect from different phenomena. Okay. So and now is my question: how can we be so 100% sure that we distinguish this model, what left, from the plausible right model? For example, 1 and 2 can be ancestor and 2 is a child, or they can be siblings, or for example, it will be like otherwise. So here is, for example,
both are correct.
Ancestor and one.
That last one can't work.
So how we distinguish?
You can't have an ancestor as your descendant. So the last one you drew from 2 to 1 can't work.
Yeah.
Why?
Are you asking?
Yes, actually,
how we distinguish convergent from?
How to exactly distinguish that the trait is ancestral?
Oh, that would be by similar morphology, embryology, and genetics. I mean, like the example I showed with the bird and the bat wing, they're very, very different in how they accomplish a wing, right? And yet there are a whole bunch of birds that all use the feather approach, and a whole bunch of bats that all use the membrane approach. So that's how you do it. You have to look into the details. You have to get a scalpel out and dissect them. Basically, take a look at the details.
So Cray, are you asking how do we determine if a trait is ancestral or derived in phylogenetics?
Yeah. Is that what you're asking?
So basically we constructive phylogeny, we of course must be sure that the traits are related like that. For example, 1 is ancestral and 2 is derived, and not like that. Not like it is sibling trait. For example, this is some branch and this is another branch, or this like that. So embryology is a good point, because developing organism would go, for example, its process from the ancestor or something like that. But if you take a creationist creationist perspective, they would not accept that embryology shows the development of the organism over time, because they have these baramins as their roots.
And that's the problem, because no creationist can point you to an original created kind. None of them do.
Yeah, they won't even what is the original cat kind? Was it like Thor here, or something else?
And then it gets worse, because you have the original created kind, which didn't make it onto the ark probably. So from there on, we have different kinds where everything else came from, and they don't even.
Okay, actually,
they can't even agree on how many animals were on the ark.
Yes, but actually, each from kind must for example, this is one kind. It is derived on different species, so to say, and for example, at least one or exactly one of this is on the ark. So, and this is for all baramins.
What is a created kind?
And
what is a created kind? No one can come up with a created kind.
So basically, I'm not sure that we can determine that some kind is created kind, but it is actually these basic kinds what were originally created. It is not about how we can determine them. It is the biblical truth that they exist.
Yeah, so
one
but
of those types is
the problem is, so we know that there are cats. We have got tigers, lions, we got house cats, we've got lynxes, we've got all of these different cats. But what was the original cat? And no one can tell us that. And so I usually don't even engage.
Yes. I don't know. You must understand their position. So it must be like a cat, but so like maybe average size, like size of the lynx or something, so they can diversify where some cats became small and some cats became large, and there must be actually high diversity inside of each kind in order to produce a diversity for species. For example, high diversity that cat population would have now. It is, but it comes from
that
content
like
what
an ad
creation
hoc.
is made.
Sounds like an ad hoc argument, though.
Okay, but
Certainly nothing to do with
thinking
science.
about it, thinking about birds and bats. Okay, as let's see, if according to your model there, if you know we had a bird that basically was flying around the ark, and then we have a mouse-like thing that was flying around the ark. And how the hell would that be? And the mouse-like thing developed into a bat. I don't think they say that. They believe in the bat kind, right? So they think there was a bat kind. But anyway, the thing that there's a whole lot of other features.
Pretty different, so there must be
before we lose sight of this. Okay, there are a whole lot of other features to mammals that tell us the bat is a mammal, other than quibbling over its wings. So I mean, we know the bat is.
So it's like bone structure or inner organ structure, right? Both to tell that it is a mammal.
So if I'm asking
sort of
nips, presumably.
If I'm asking a question, so are the one and the numbers there are those supposed to represent characters, or are they supposed to represent species? What? Go ahead.
So actually, this is what we are observing right now. It is a recent moment, for example, and we observe now, for example, two different species of some animals. So according to creationist model, again, they have been derived from different time, and for example, convergent evolution would take place, so they have some feature confused among each other. So it is from the broad perspective, it is not easy to determine the following: are they related evolutionary to what we have evolutionary perspective, or it can be also be just convergent evolution, like these, for example, from different.
That's not convergent evolution.
I just wanted to show the cat kind.
Yep. Speed, didn't you one time during one of your streams say that like the Christians that do accept evolution as God's plan, that their theory is that at one point God backed a dump truck up and just dumped a bunch of eukaryotes in the ocean?
Yeah, those are the old Earth creationists, not
the old
not theistic evolutionists.
Not necessarily old. Oh, why? I see no problem that God have created some basic kinds what can be rapidly evolved. So, did you see the movie Evolution, where like meteors strike the Earth and creature become rapidly evolved or something?
Yeah, that's the problem.
So
with positing
I don't understand why.
That there's absolutely everything could.
I don't. It is not.
Nothing
it is
that
not
can be excluded upon
it
that
is not
basis.
supernatural.
Right?
I saw.
It's not supernatural
that
because
movie.
it can naturally happen.
I actually saw that movie, and what that movie represents is what would have happened if the Bible was correct. Because if we would have had Noah's flood, we would see 11 new creatures per day, and we don't see that.
Yeah, but they
Yes.
slowed down because I don't know why. But
And basically,
okay,
what also they say, we determine speciation from a modern perspective, because modern we observe population what animals what has less divergence as they have former according to creationist perspective. So it's what kind of funny. And I like it really this movie because this movie is really funny and it represents it represents actually creation event or maybe repopulation after Noah's flood. What happens there?
What is this movie? It's a creationist movie.
No. It's called Evolution. It's
David Duchovny.
There's an impact of an extraterrestrial body, and then there's a hole in the ground, and in that hole, everything evolves,
and they start rapidly evolve. Yes.
Yeah, on a very rapid pace. Every day they get in there are new creatures.
Yeah, I haven't watched that since it came out in the theaters. So
yes. Yeah, it's been a while for me as well, but I do remember the movie. It was a fun movie, but still a movie.
Yeah. But there's one place where they're shooting themselves in the foot now, and Standing for Truth and Maddox and a few others, they are relying on epigenetics to do this speciation and claiming that that's the only way it could have happened, was front-loaded diversity and epigenetics. And they're shooting themselves in the foot because if we look at even the breeds of dogs we have, it's there are mutations. There are random mutations that give rise to the different breeds of dogs. It is not epigenetics.
Actually, as I understood, the epigenetics is part of evolutionary mechanism, because epigenetics create some room where creature can adapt to the environment, but the creatures
it interacts with
better. Actually, get selected. Yes,
it interacts
example,
with interacts with ecology. Okay, did you get that part?
Yes.
So basically, there's a two-way interaction between ecology and epigenetics. So epigenetics is involved, but that is a very much different phenomena, and it's going to have very different characteristics and different limitations. So the more they double down on this epigenetics stuff, the more they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. So,
and Peter, I just like to say, you represent Peter. You represent the creationists very well.
It's the people that I talk most to.
Right. I was about to say, I was trying to say, but I got interrupted. That you represent them very well. I mean, you steelman that very well, and I find that they don't seem to balk. They don't seem to get upset when you, say or represent them. They don't say, "Oh, you're misrepresenting us," and obviously that is because of all the years of you, having conversations with them, right? I mean, you seem to do a good job. Yeah,
it's not only that. I would lie if I would say that I've come to that by myself. I had a lot of help. I mean, I talked to Jackson Wheat a lot. Not so much anymore because of time restraints, but people like that have helped me. I watch a lot of stuff that On Ra puts out. Yeah, but I also watch a lot of the creationist stuff. So I still watch the stuff that Hovin puts out, but I've watched several. There are several creationist channels who put that stuff out, which is slightly different from one to another.
I just want to say, though, that there is one exception to the rule that you brought up when it comes to Peter. Have you ever seen any of his interactions with Otangelo?
Oh yeah,
I had one earlier today.
Did you? How'd it go?
Well, this was in regards to, and this is why I jumped on Sydney Stream. This was because Darth pretended to dox himself on S.J. Thomason's channel.
Yeah. And
I tweeted about it, later found out that Tom Rabbit caught it as well and put it on his channel. So weird things happened when I tweeted about it. first of all, there was a Twitter account that told me that the guy in the video wasn't Darth. It was a Catholic. And when I wanted to ask him how he got to that information, the Twitter account disappeared. It had only one tweet, and the moment I answered the tweet that they sent me, the account was deleted again. So it was specifically created to tell me that that wasn't Darth. Then I started digging, and I found the channel that the guy was on, and it appears that the guy died in 2020 from cancer. So I tweeted that it wasn't Darth. It was a guy. Oh damn! I have to check before I butcher everything. The guy's name was Patrick Rivelli.
Yep.
And he was from Milwaukee, Oregon. And so when I found that out, I got a DM on Twitter saying, and I'll read it out. This is going to blow your fucking mind, because it blew mine. I live in Portland, and the man I work for is Dwayne Rivelli, and Pat was his brother. I can't fucking believe that shit. I can't even believe myself. I knew Pat a little bit. And he said,
wow.
I didn't go to the funeral because of COVID.
Yeah.
So
what did Untangelo have to say? Anything? Did he say anything?
So what I did is, and I'll go to Discord and I'll get. Oh, he responded. Yeah. Oh, this is new. Okay, so I told him I know who the guy in the video was, and I said, don't you think that there's something wrong with dragging a dead man's name through the mud? My morality wouldn't allow it. Makes me speak out about it. And then Otangelo rambled on where I get my morality, because I have no grounding for my morality. And I told him I'd be more than happy to explain the secular morality to you, the superiority of secular morality to you in voice sometime this week. In the meantime, ask Darth why he picked this guy, and I shot him a screenshot of my DMs, and he responded earlier tonight and said, I don't have any contact with Darth anymore.
So wait a minute, hold on. The guy that was allegedly what? Darth picked what?
Darth picked a video of a guy who passed
right.
away in 2020, and he pretended to accidentally dox himself on SJ's channel.
Yeah.
What in the Jesus? What? What?
It makes me wonder what good having a grounding for your morality is if it leads you to do shit like that.
Exactly. That was my question.
Okay, so you've got a grounding for your morals. Big deal. You're still a piece of shit.
Can I say something? Now, just think how bad he would be if he wasn't a Christian. Then nothing would keep him back. Like, he can do what the hell he wanted.
I mean,
it's already this bad being a Christian.
I seriously think that there's nothing holding him back right now, because I am convinced that if Darth would want to kill someone, he could find justification for that in the Bible, and he would just do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's on the screen right now. So this is look at Darth Dawkins in the lower left.
Yeah.
And the guy on that video, that is Pat.
Yeah. So look at how he does it. He just thought you were going to play it, but yeah.
I could.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. You don't have to. I'm just saying that he just
I want to see it.
He puts it on there and then
okay, we'll roll it.
Speed, I think Andrew evaporated again.
He evaporated?
Damn it. He always evaporates.
Maybe he's devolving.
Yeah.
Speed, if you're going to play that, if you're going to play that, do me a favor.
Which one?
Play this one too. I put it in the private chat.
Oh my God, you guys are such a pain in the ass with your private chat.
Just to show people that my morality would make me ask you to play that one.
All right.
Okay, let's see.
So Nathan, it says logical, plausible, probable. He says he just read your post and he says he guesses he'll accept you and hope God is opening you up to divine once more.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Did she comment on
Well,
it?
I mean,
Yes.
you've got me really interested in thinking about at least checking, because I do I really enjoy going around to different
How long is it before she comments?
Not long.
Not long. It's not
churches.
long yet.
And I've gone into one, or the Orthodox one, because that's where my friend lives, and I might go up there sometime and just check out one of those churches.
A bit different. It'd be an interesting experience because it is a bit different.
And I think that'd be good. So we've still got Otangelo, Pope kissing, and I guess Darth. I think he didn't. He said he had to go on an errand, but I think he left his thing here.
Did I just saw Dart putting his cam by accident?
Yeah, I think you did.
For the first time.
Uh-oh, hopefully Tom Raven doesn't get that. Maybe I should. Well, I can clip that out of this video if anyone wants me to do it.
Okay.
There's a key point.
I shot Tom a few comments on his video, and Tom took the video down. He had posted it on his channel, and he took it down.
Yeah, we talked about that, Peter. She said, "Oh, I should clip that out," and then she didn't. And I bet Darth probably contacted her and said, "Oh, don't clip that out. Whatever you do."
It's possible.
Like what?
Can you play the one that I put in the private chat, Speed?
Well, give me a moment.
Like, what in the fuck is wrong with Darth Dawkins? Just did he not?
He's just a piece of shit.
The man has problems. What do you think?
I mean,
What's your
we all. My point is, Dave, that we all have problems, but no one's a piece of shit.
He's a narcissistic sociopath. That should pretty much answer all of your questions.
Yeah,
is this
I've been accused of being that also.
You're not. I can assure you, you're not.
Okay, play the video.
We're hoping you'll get a little more narcissistic with that. But anyway, okay. I don't know if we need the music, right? We don't need the music, do we?
No.
So this is the guy that he showed a picture of.
Yep. Yeah. That is actually his memorial video after he died. Someone posted that on his channel.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is I put this out everywhere. Since the guy's face was used by Darth, we should at least honor the guy by just playing this video and then watch what he did. He seemed like a pretty cool guy. He was a car nut, and he had some pretty cool cars.
He died early.
One of them a blue Ferrari.
Yeah.
And that was basically his channel. His channel was all about cars.
He reminds me of some actor. I can't place it.
An entire life in a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh my.
Yeah. Wow.
Tragic.
Yeah. He passed away from cancer, right? You said.
Yeah, he passed away from cancer. He did a few videos to update people on what was happening with his cancer. So
honestly, I knew Darth was a piece of shit, and it was just like, okay, whatever, he's a piece of shit, but this just.
I really like this guy. You look at those pictures, they go by, and you just really take a liking to him.
Well, if you watch his videos, he's sounds just like a really cool guy, and he was a Catholic, but I don't think there's anything wrong with someone being a Catholic. This is literally the same room where the video was from that Darth used.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know I like him because he's got Is that a Winnie dog or a Chihuahua or a Chiweenie or something?
Cool.
Yeah, cancer.
Yeah,
It's like we got like 15 different pills out there so that you can get a fucking Woody, but we haven't cured cancer yet. Like,
yeah.
Is this his website?
That's his channel.
His
Yeah, he was
Okay,
only,
And if you scroll down, there's a video called Big Boss. Well, you have to go to videos first.
Okay.
If you scroll down, the videos is pretty old.
You have to wonder, why did Darth pick this guy? You wonder, maybe because he
further down,
slightly
Steve.
looks like him, maybe? Why would he pick this guy?
The big guy?
No. There's a video called Big Boss. A little bit further. There you go. Oh,
okay. Is that where he got the clip from?
The one next to it, Big Boss. That's where he got the clip from. Because no, the one next to it. That's the boss. Oh well.
See, there's that impulse control.
Yeah, he's literally wearing that same shirt in the clip that Darth had.
Yeah.
Interesting. God damn it. what? That's kind of a douche move. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's just weird. It took me less than an hour to figure everything out and to find all of the links that I needed.
Yeah.
Now, did he do that because is there pictures of him going around that he's trying to refute or?
You want to
I
see
think
that?
so.
What do you want to see? What Darth looks like in real life?
Yeah.
I have that for you. There we go. and I have to stress that on purpose I gave Darth a female body with breasts and put him in high heels. But that face, that is the man known as Gary Milne, aka Darth Dawkins.
Hey, can you make that full screen for a second, Speed?
I could do that if. Okay.
There she is.
That's what he looks like. Eh?
That's probably a fairly old photo too, right? Because he looks a little bit young there.
Photo is I think a little less than 2 decades old. It might be somewhere around 10 years old. And
that's what I thought. He's about 60. He's almost 60 right now. So
he put it out and it was completely distorted, and so I had to reconstruct the whole thing. I'm not sure if I still have the original. I'll have to look. I do. So
where did you catch that?
This is the picture that I found of Darth. So that's what I had to work with.
That's not much.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But I can.
How do you
hold
know?
on.
I hope he finds a cure for the crocodile skin.
Yeah.
That's
I saw that on Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
That's probably what he really looks like, I'm sure.
Wasn't that a thing on Game of Thrones?
So what I did is I reconstructed it. I'm not sure about the eyes because obviously you can't see the eyes in the original picture.
Yeah.
But I think I'm pretty close. Yep.
Interesting.
Okay, Peter, that is frightening.
Who's the old director and actor that did that War of the Worlds thing back in the early 20th century? That fooled everybody on Orson Welles. Yeah, because that picture on the right. Yeah, that picture on the right, he kind of looks like a young Orson Welles.
Yeah. So why did he do it? He put that out there just to see what all his atheists would do with the picture, right?
He probably did it so people would use that and would show everyone this is Darth, and by that just dragging the dead guy's name through the mud and so that's why I was mad about it, and that's why I made sure that everyone I know
got
that thing.
Yep.
And I have to say kudos because I posted it on Tom Rabbit's channel, and I think within half an hour the video was gone.
Yeah.
So suits Tom Rabbit.
Yeah.
I mean, that is. Guess what you think? Guess what you think? Somebody couldn't go any lower.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
Why does he
And
hide?
who really cares what he looks like? To tell you the truth, right?
Well, I always want to. I do not just accept voice from people. I have to see them at least once, otherwise, because I've had so much trouble. Like when you go to meet a person, finally, after you've talked to them, and there's just
definitely makes a difference. Yeah,
there's such a dissonance, when you meet them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like back when after I voted my second wife off the island, I started this telepersonals bullshit where you meet girls on the phone, and I was addicted to it. And oh my God, when you go and meet them, you even if you actually fall in love with them on the phone a little bit, right? You go and meet them, and suddenly you can't put the two things together at all.
No.
It doesn't work.
Yep.
No, that's when you realize that the picture that you have in mind, the picture doesn't match the sound.
Right.
The actual picture.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. My best threesomes like that.
I don't know if I can actually.
Christ.
I don't know if I can actually split. This is what I looked like 2 years ago before I started the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay.
It's aged
That's your
quite
son.
a bit.
That's your son. Maybe I don't know.
My
That's
picture
actually-
is my
no,
picture
that's
is
not-
me. My picture is me when I was a lot younger, about 200 years ago.
Yeah, that was actually me 35 years ago, 30 years ago.
Oh well, that I believe.
Or no, actually only 22 years ago, I think.
No, that I don't
20
believe.
That was in 1990. No, that was in 1995.
Yeah, I
So,
still don't believe that.
26 years. No, that's me. That was me. I have another one somewhere of me when I was 18.
Read a comment in the. Read the comment in the.
That was me 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Unbelievably.
Did Antangelo age you that much, Speed?
Yes. True.
I don't think it was Angelo, was it? It would be Danny, if anybody.
Yeah.
All the thought of that hot young meat.
Yeah.
Speaking of hot young meat, look at that picture of Simon.
Yeah. Look at that when I was a rock star.
Ah,
Well,
I mean, you're still a rock star.
Oh, thank you so much.
I've got a picture of me when I was young. So there's a picture of me.
Oh yeah, that is you. I recognise you. Yeah, I met you when I actually met you when I was 14. Did you know that, Peter?
Yeah.
I met you when I was 14. You remember?
I remember you.
Yeah, Fulham Road.
If I'm correct, I should still have a picture of you from back then.
Oh, from a little while ago when I was racing, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
my Formula One career. It didn't last very long, needless to say.
Wait, okay, are you guys memeing or did you guys actually meet? I'm confused now.
No. I have a picture of Simus in his racing days. Oh shit!
What the fuck? Is that Steve McRae? What?
Fuck
off!
That?
No, this is
fuck off!
No, I didn't know who that was. Sorry.
That's me when I was racing Ferraris.
Yeah, that was Simus in his racing days.
Yeah.
See, sorry, I just saw an old guy. With white hair, and I assumed it was Steve.
Yeah, so I just thought, it's better to be Simus. Very much like Sauron.
Well, you know that's not Steve because that picture on the screen is not platforming a rapist.
What the fuck?
As you can see, this is where I got it from, and as you can see, so the hair looks different, and the explanation for that is Well, that's where the hair came from.
Could you full screen the other picture so I can see the actual picture you got it from? Let me see that one because I can't remember that. I don't actually remember the glasses. I don't think I've had those glasses very long. Can you full screen him, please, Pete?
Oh yeah. Where is okay? Got it. I mean, that is a rock star look if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, old rock star, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's rock star shit right there. That's pretty good. Oh, shit.
I don't know where you got that from. I don't even recognize the shirt I was wearing.
Do you see how much better the picture is of you in the racing suit?
Yeah,
from
from
where I got it.
I'm not even sure that is me, to be honest with you.
It is you.
I mean, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, I can.
If you want to check, just type in Simon's Funk in Google, and you will find that picture because that's how I got it.
I will do that right away. I'm going to Google you, man. Seeing how we're showing pictures, check this one out. Proving that I was young once. It's kind of wrinkled up. Well, that's me on the left.
With wearing your sunglasses inside, I see.
Those weren't actually my sunglasses. We were fucking around. So he grabbed the pipe and I grabbed the sunglasses and he took a picture of it. So I didn't actually wear sunglasses like that, but I don't know. Young punk.
A big bowl of soup in front of the two of you. What was that?
That was a big bowl of that was a big can of top tobacco. We'd roll cigarettes with it and shit. Yeah, so it was tobacco. But like a weekday afternoon at the farm, basically. Oh no, that wasn't actually top. That was some other kind of tobacco. I'm not sure. But and we were probably.
I don't think I have that photo, Peter.
Say again?
I don't even think I have that photo. I don't even know where it's from or anything.
The one that I have right now?
Yeah, no, not that one. I know where that one's from. That's actually one of my ancestors.
Yes,
with my face on it.
I've got the original for that as well.
Oh, go on, show me that. You're amazing if you've got that as well.
Oh shit! No, I don't. I didn't.
I didn't think so. It is in the National Gallery, so it is public. Yeah.
Well, so I think we should shoot it in the head, like sooner than 5 minutes. What do you think, guys?
Yeah,
I think it's your stream.
Yeah, we're going to shoot it in the head. So, anyone have anything they want to promote or whatever the fuck you want to do?
Why not?
I don't know. Should I go live at 8, or should I go for a walk?
Oh, I don't know. If you go live, let me know or send me a dance. Send me a
There
message.
you go, Thomas.
That is it.
Have it.
Yeah, that is it.
I did have it.
that is actually my ancestor.
Which one? To the left or the right?
Henry III or something?
No. Lord Halifax.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I'll tell you what, his fax machine was really a good thing for a while. That's Halifax, is it in the fax machine, right?
Yeah, Halifax is in Canada. The same
Halifax.
Halifax.
I have to say there is a strong resemblance in the hairline.
Yes. I don't know. I thought there was a little similarity. The nose is a little bit similar.
So my friend Drace is in the audience. He just woke up to tell me I'm wrong about everything.
Nice.
So maybe we could talk about scientism next and my approach to scientism.
Wait, I thought you didn't want to talk about that anymore because every time you talk about it, it's people misunderstand you.
No, I want to talk about it, but I'm not going to let anybody else fucking talk. Okay.
Well, that's rude.
No, that's sensible. That's rational and reasonable, and the only way you're going to get the only way you're going to get to really understand what a person means by something is to shut everybody else the fuck up. So you can all shut the fuck up.
Sure, that's up to you. It's your stream. It's your life. It's your planet.
Hey, you got the man himself.
And there you go. That's the
You
real
do look
one.
like a rock star. Christ.
Yeah, well,
You are a rock star?
By the way,
I used to be, yeah, back in the
Yep.
90s.
by the way, Simus, I can give you a penalty right now.
Please do.
Oh wait, I don't have that on this one. Shit. Hold on. I can fix that.
Okay, that's okay.
You know, it's kind of funny, but Simus is the only person I've ever met to where the voice matches the face.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, there we go. Time penalty.
Time penalty.
Simus fun. 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Okay, guys, we're going to kill it.
Using
All
dead
right,
jokes.
well, wait a minute. I want to add. I just would
Goodbye,
like to
cruel
make
world.
I want to make a public announcement. Hold on, Speed. Little Maddox, little PP, stand by. Okay, I promise that you will make the big time. I promise we'll make a stream about you. So just stay patient, and you will get there one of these days.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were going to talk about him.
Yeah, and
Man,
he's
we
probably
forgot
very
again?
upset. Yeah, but you'll get there. You'll make the big time. Don't worry.
Okay, the weather report tomorrow, we are definitely going to talk about him. I mean, absolutely, I promise.
Yeah,
Because we got to talk about pseudogenes and junk DNA.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I don't want the man to have commit suicide if we don't.
So are you gonna talk about him literally?
Literally.
Yes, literally.
Literally.
And I just can't believe you Evo atheists just cannot come to the conclusion that the genetic code is literally true.
And don't forget the phrase beta code.
Literally a code.
You're not able to comprehend it.
sound. If you want to do a real Maddox, you have to sound a little bit more whining and condescending.
Lots of whining. Yeah.
In order to be convincing John Maddox.
Yeah, you can speed him up to like 1.75, and he sounds like a normal person.
Yeah,
I sped him up to 2. I sped him up to 2, and then he's still too slow.
Yeah.
Still takes way too long. Still takes way too long.
Are we done now? Are we going to shoot this?
No, hold on. I can show you what happened right now because I'm going to give Simus a penalty and a sneak preview of what he's going to face tomorrow. So Simus, there's your penalty. Another 10 seconds.
Another 10 seconds. I'll never get finished. Okay, I'm talking, going on. Okay, so just remember the penalty about a garage, right? That's for me. That's one that after you've shown the Italian one, Simus Funk being in a garage.
Okay, are we ready?
That's
What are we
it.
doing?
Brilliant. Okay, I've got a line ready. So when you're ready, Speed.
I'm ready to go out, which means I'm going to play this cow thing, and I'm going to do the long form of my outro today. So
a cow thing.
How'd you know that, Sal? Answers in Atheism. In this book, it's not in this book, it's not in this book, it's not in this book, it's certainly not in this book, it's not